Try this trick and spin it. Yeah. Your head will collapse, but there's nothing in it. And you'll ask yourself, where is my mind? Where is my mind? Where is my mind?
How are you, Sean?
That music, it's different.
digging
It's perfect for today, for this moment. I'm like, yeah, let's hang out to the end of Fight Club a little bit here. I don't know how many other movies that song is from, but that's what came to mind for me.
I
The
haven't
buildings are
seen
collapsing.
I haven't seen Fight Club in so long. I didn't
Me
even
neither.
recognize the reference. I haven't seen the movie in at least over a decade, but I love the Pixies, and I thought it was fitting. I came up with a new little intro, and I was like, I can just grab like different songs, or you can give me a song if you want. And we can do different songs, but since we're not like, I mean, I guess we're live, but we're not, like monetized
Not
or
super
anything.
publicly live.
Yeah, who cares?
What a vibe, Tony Baker says in the chat. Look at him already,
Nice.
first year. We do not talk about Fight Club, says Dano.
It's the first rule.
I just broke the first 2 rules, I think.
Damn it, Sean, you're out of Fight Club.
I'm out of Fight. That was it. That was short. Good. I shouldn't have been fighting anyways.
How are you
I've
doing?
never
my
had
dude?
insomnia or anything even remotely like that. I should watch it again though. That movie. I think you should watch it again. I think is it like overhyped at this point? Is that why you might avoid it? Is it over?
Which one,
was it
Fight Club?
overwatched? Yeah.
I don't think it's overhyped. I like it a lot. I mean, like with any cult classic, it's probably not ever as good as the people that love it want it to
Right.
be.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make it like, any less entertaining. It's still very good fun to watch, fun movie to watch. I own it. I just haven't watched it in a very long time.
It had a great DVD actually, I only have it on DVD. I don't have it on Blu-ray, and it has like
I
a
have
great like set
Blu-ray.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the whole soap thing and everything. You open it up, it's got it's got texture to it. That DVD pack. That was back in the day. I mean, I don't even know if I was smart enough to watch it when it first came out. Like, I don't know that I was like enough into my life to know what message it was really talking
Like to
about.
get it.
Yeah, like I was kind of there for like the fighting and the just the more just raunchiness about the movie. Like it seemed to satisfy an adolescent me or many others, I'm sure. It was pretty existential, that movie.
Yeah.
Like it's like it's a commentary on like life and a whole bunch of it, man.
Sorry, I'm closing down all my windows. That's why I keep looking around.
I was just impressed that we kind of got this thing up and going on a private feed on YouTube. People are here. We had like a
gotta
nice
get
like 1-2 punch in the Patreon.
Gotta be
Discord.
fast. Gotta be quick.
Well, you set up a nice long song for you.
Yeah, I did actually. That was another reason why I wanted to do it. Give myself a nice good 40 seconds or so.
Yeah, man.
And I almost didn't get the Patreon article off. Like I got that with like seconds to spare. Actually,
I didn't even do a paid. What do you mean? You did like an? I guess I did see an email come in.
You can post the link as an article.
Oh, that's a good idea. Oh, look at you, all practiced up with this.
That's the PSVG way, right?
My
like ever
patrons would
since
be
I
like, "What the
moved
hell?"
to play some video games, that's what we've been doing and trying to get used to it. And try to give our patrons something, a little something for their support.
And they show. I mean, it's funny because they're probably the ones who would show up to the public recordings anyways, because they're just the best people.
Sure.
You
Yeah,
know,
for
like
sure.
in terms of how dedicated they are. I feel
Most
like
of
my
them.
camera's like super zoomed in.
You could change the resolution.
People can enjoy the massive. I'm all a little stuffed up. I feel like I'm on the tail end of a crappy little cold and flu here.
Oh, that's not good.
COVID confirmed not to be the thing. We got the.
Isn't it
negative
sad that
test.
every time you get like
I know,
a hint
you
of a
just have
cold or
to.
allergies or anything, you're like, well, is this it?
Could be. Well, and you do like, and I would understand like if people are like, what do you like? Why haven't you gotten tested or anything like that? I would understand. that. So
Jack
you
got
have
bronchitis a couple weeks ago, and we tested him twice.
I got bronchitis.
On the first end, on the onset, and like as it was leaving, we
Yikes.
tested him twice.
How long did that last?
He had it for about a week.
Yeah,
Bronchitis can be tough to shake.
yeah. That's why I ask.
Yeah.
Have you enjoyed the month, man? It's been I think it's been actually officially 4 weeks since we last
Yeah,
did
I
this.
was talking to my wife earlier today. I was like, it's been a month since we last hung out, and it doesn't feel that way to me. It feels
No.
like it's been pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty quick turnaround. It's been a hell of a month for me. It's been a hell of a month for like the biz. Like we had
Yeah.
the Nintendo Direct, we had the State of Play.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a bunch of delays. We've had a bunch of games released. Like some
Nothing
good
on
stuff.
Xbox.
Yeah.
Good time to shut down an Xbox show and lean into Shaq.
So yeah, so like we've had that, and then you know, like I think for me, like with Kirby passing, that's like the biggest thing for my
You've
month.
had a lot happen, man.
Yeah, that made it suck. But outside of that, yeah, man, I've missed talking to you.
Oh,
For
thanks,
sure.
dude. Same here.
It's like I definitely noticed it, which
Mm-hmm.
I think is kind of a good thing because I was kind of jonesing to do the show today. Like,
Yeah.
I had everything ready like way in advance. Like I
Yeah,
was
you
ready
really
like
did.
20 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so yeah, I was like, yeah, man, it's a fun time to hang out and do the sweet hangs.
Do the sweet hangs. I would have been right there with you. I was unfortunately taking care of a little situation.
The
there.
family stuff, yeah, man.
Oh,
I was
man.
doing Halloween decorations today. I haven't not gamed at all this weekend.
Oh.
I've been doing Halloween all weekend long.
What the heck?
Hmm.
Well, you don't have that obligation anymore. I shouldn't even like lean into that at all. You don't have to. You don't have to. You can do. Whatever
I
you
don't
want.
even. I haven't even felt like I you know, I'm behind the eight ball at all. I feel.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll probably play a little bit tonight now that I'm almost done with my setup. I gotta get some
Yeah.
dry ice, and I'm one of my remotes stopped working, so I gotta get one of my remotes in. But outside of that, I'm almost ready to go. So
Actually, it's funny because it feels early, and with most other things that I plan for, that I kind of stay on top of, I like to. It's a point of pride where I'm like, if other people feel like it seems early that I'm planning for something, it's probably the exact right time.
mm,
You know, like
My
that's how
competitors-
generally I feel. Like it feels. To me, it's like my first reaction was, it feels early for Halloween, but like it's not. It's totally not. It's
my competitors in the
perfect time.
neighborhood already have their stuff up.
Oh really? Oh snap! I didn't realize you had like a whole thing.
Yeah. There's
Like
2 or 3 other houses that do pretty big for Halloween, and their stuff's up.
Ah.
Their stuff's up, which is funny because I was like, I got to get my stuff up. And my son said, "Dad, the army that strikes first doesn't always win the war," which was
Did
like,
he really?
yeah, that's exactly what he told me. It's
Wow.
the strangest and wisest thing a 12-year-old has ever said.
Yep.
But you know what? As Jace makes an appearance, I can go ahead and let Jace know that it's never too early for Halloween. You can
Well.
suck it because it makes me happy.
Well,
So I'll
argue with that
I'll
part.
put the stuff up in February.
yeah, no, that's too early. That is too early. There can be a thing, but I'm like I found myself very conflicted by that statement because I disagreed 100% with the first part, but I don't want to like yuck on your yum or whatever the saying.
No,
is.
it's fine. It's I found a TikTok video of somebody that was decorating their house like super early, and it was like all celebratory, and I was like, these are my people. I get it.
Yeah.
It's a little weird. Even my neighbor, he came out yesterday. He's old, man. He's like 80, right? He comes
yeah.
out and he's like, "Why are you so into Halloween?" Which I
Yeah.
thought was like a really weird thing
Just
to
straight
ask
up.
somebody. Yeah.
Mhm.
I was like, I just am. I
Yeah.
just am.
Do you guys have like a good relationship?
Oh yeah, he's
Yeah.
like he's really old,
Yeah.
which means he's like super conservative and kind of racist. He's not like overtly racist, not like Georgia. So like,
Sure.
I know that he's more like he's like the everybody should keep to their own racist. Like he's not dropping words and stuff, but like you can just tell.
We had
You know?
we had a conversation yesterday on stream a little bit about Chris Pratt being cast as Super Mario.
Devsis, what the hell's kind of racist?
Yeah, we'll back away from that one a
Dev,
little bit. Dev.
come to Georgia. Come to Georgia, and I can give you a spectrum
There's
of
a
racism.
spectrum. There's a rating scale. There's like a pH scale that you can
There
be
is,
on.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Basic or acidic.
He's just
Racist.
old. He's just old man. You know, like, get off my lawn type of dude. He's just kind of cranky and
Yeah.
but he's a fine neighbor.
As far as the get off my lawn goes, I could get it. Like I understand that. You
Yeah.
know, we're all on this journey towards old, cranky, senile old man. Anyways,
Hell, I think
Some
I'm
of us
there way
closer.
earlier. I think
Yeah, well,
that's why he and I get somewhat. I think he and I somewhat get along, and I think it's because of that.
hmm And that's
You
just
know.
it. Like it only gets older and more senile from here. Like it's not like it's getting less. I don't think
Yeah,
that's the
'cause-
way that goes.
He basically hates everybody in the neighborhood, and I'm like, so do I, kind of.
Mhm.
It's like, yeah, I don't talk to anybody else either, and yeah, I wish they would get their car out of their lawn and like shut up at night.
Jay says that kind of racist is a white people term.
That might be true.
Which I
you know
think
what? That's
a
you know what?
racist
But it's
statement.
not. It's
That's
not.
That's racist to say.
You need to come to the South. And I don't mean to say that to be like, like racism can't exist elsewhere. It definitely can. But it's different. You should come here because I've seen it. I've definitely seen it go plenty of both ways. As the only white kid at my school in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've seen it go plenty of both ways. Kind of racist is not a white people term. There's definitely people out there that are kind of racist.
Yeah. In my junior high, I wasn't Italian enough, so there's that. Like whatever that means.
Yeah. That's still the same thing. Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well, it's good to chat with you, man.
Yeah.
I love seeing you upgrade the TV and everything. I feel like you're getting little mini sweet hangs in some of your shows, though. But good for you, dude.
That was a splurge.
I almost did I was in the Discord chatting about it. I was almost doing something really similar. It looked like I had my hands on a open boxing, but it was an older model. It didn't have all the things I needed, so I didn't quite do it. But through that whole conversation, I did get like the green light, basically, like whenever you find the thing, like go buy the thing.
You can do it.
We'll just do that. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna.
Black Friday cometh.
And we'll see. I'd like to do that. But I want to. The other thing that we want to do is kind of actually not necessarily like what you have, but kind of want to do like a wall unit, kind of like almost like build like in what are they called, built-in shelves. Like I want to do like the whole wall around this TV.
That'd be really nice.
Yeah. Like I want to have like because we kind of have like a table that's like it's a like with some drawers and stuff, and there's a Wii U that sits on top of it, and the kids' toys kind of sitting there and stuff. And I just want to have
like the whole
really
shelf
good
cabinet thing.
I
want one of those in my wife wants one of those in our living room because she thought our old one just made it look more homey.
Totally.
We just have like a TV stand. It's just like a little cabinet.
Yeah, and it's a whole wall. Like that's just and that all that's on it is the TV. So part of it that made us realize this was we've got this 55-inch TV on this giant wall, and there's nothing else on
and
it.
It looks bare, doesn't it?
Yeah, it kind of does. So that leads us to one, we need a bigger TV, and then two, obviously we've got to fill the rest of the space. So kind of got a bit of a practice run at that, which was nice. Like we didn't have to like pull the trigger on really anything. We just talked about it, which is very much my style. Like we've got everything laid out. I don't have a Google Doc, which might surprise you yet. But close. We're close.
You whiteboarded it though.
I'm like, we got to draw this out. We've gone on Pinterest, is where we've been. We've checked out a couple things. We've saved it. That's how I snap the pen. I'm telling you, man. I've got the pens here to prove it. Like, how else is anything supposed to get done?
I've seen you do it so many times live. Like you get an idea and you just get this thing out of nowhere.
I got to do it. I bought whiteboard. I've got more whiteboards than actual just bare wall in this room just for that very reason. Like life moves too fast. Thoughts are too fleeting. Like you just move on and that's it. Like I don't want to lose it.
Isn't that what people use like Cortana and Siri and all those things for? They have those people think of that stuff for them.
I haven't used the Amazon one. What the heck? Alexa. I haven't used Alexa. But Google.
I disabled
Google's
all of that
legit.
stuff.
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah, I don't like any of that stuff.
I mean, it's probably still listening to you anyways, but
right. That's the scary part.
Yeah. But Siri is awful. Like, let's just be clear about that. Like, Apple just sucks the big one on the AI front. Yeah, it's no good. I don't trust her with anything. I can barely ask her to set an alarm, for God's sakes.
They reset my radio when I was doing my speakers, and it popped up for the first time, and I didn't even know what it was. Yeah. I was in front of them. I was like, what the hell's happened to my radio? Like, that's Siri. I was like, oh, we need to turn that back off.
I've set my Siri to have an Indian voice. He's from India, and I quite like that. Yeah. Nice. Very, very smart, I feel. Very refined. Yeah. I don't know what my problem with original Siri was. Maybe I thought that Siri would get better with a better voice, but it's the same Siri.
Like it's just a girl's voice, right?
Yeah. But I trust the Google one. Like that's our grocery list. That's everything. Is that kind of racist? my Siri choice is Indian. But I have to clarify, stuff. Like he's actually from India. Like that's the struggle. Like I get it. You're still allowed, man, getting into some dicey territory. Like at what point, like I think I'll just talk about Donnie from here on out and Jace.
No, like definitely do not do that.
I will just because I'm scared to misstep, man. This is what happens when we go Patreon exclusive.
Just the
we're in a
quality
safe
of the
space.
show.
We're just
Well,
you got to say red dot or no. I'm not even reading that whole sentence down.
he almost got you. He almost got you.
I read a word and a half ahead from where the words are, and that's no. Oh, he sounds smart. Oh, just.
I'm never bringing up race.
Is that
again.
not good either? I don't know. Damn.
Never bringing up race again on the show.
I don't know what I was thinking. Honestly, I don't know what the heck. I feel like we went into and had an election season in between this last time that you and I chatted. Like, I don't think
really?
we were. Yeah, we announced it and we did it and it's done. We just did it. It's happened. We finished. But anyway, I want to buy a big TV. I want to paint my walls. I want to build.
Can't believe I did it.
Good for you, man.
It's really nice.
You just wanted bigger. Like, you didn't want to take that opportunity, or maybe it's just because it was a splurge. Like, you could have gone for like an OLED or something like that. Like,
so the OLED thing is, I mean, it's more or less money. You know, it's hard to say I'm cheap when I spend $800, but like, there are levels to my splurginess.
Exactly with you. Yeah.
You know, it was a deal at $800. I was getting it for like half off. So that's why I was interested. It was bigger. That was the first thing. But also, I love the NanoCell so much already.
Yeah.
And knowing that this was like the best version of that NanoCell, and like the new NanoCell has got better blacks than the one that I had. It's probably my biggest complaint. And I was like, I'll just get that. I already know and love it, and it's good to go. You know,
it is amazing. I was checking out like even going from like the 75, 80, 85, like now to the, what are they, 90 or 95 on the NanoCell?
90. They had a 95, but they discontinued it. They might have had issues with it last year.
Oh, yeah. And do you go to Arting? Well, how do you say it? Like ratings, but Arting?
Ratings, yeah. Ratings.
And like pretty different year to year, man, which kind of surprises me because it's still, you know, a lot of it's carryover.
Yeah.
But pretty different. Yeah, you don't want to go too far back. Especially
it's noticeably different. Like the 90 is noticeably better than the 85 in just terms of its vibrancy. It's just more contrasty. The greens, yellows, pinks, and blues are brighter. Yeah. The blacks, grays, and everything are darker. You know.
Do you ever miss, like, do you go into ever like a Best Buy or anything like that to check out these TVs side by side? Like, because that used to be part of the whole experience. You know. Like,
yeah, you've talked about that quite a bit.
Yeah. But like side by side, you just look at you're basically looking at like you're making a pretty significant purchase decision on numbers and reviews.
I always put my faith in like trusted friends like Dev and or YouTube. I go to YouTube and I let them do the side by sides for me and explain to me which one is different and why which one is better. That's what I rest my hat on.
Which is probably for the best.
I'll actually send those to Dev and be like, well, this person says such and such. What do you think?
Right.
Because I'm always worried that when you go into a store that somebody's messed with something. It's not set up correctly.
That's exactly where I was going to go.
It's not tuned in correctly. The light's different than the light that I have. You know, it's like I kind of want to know everything that's neutral. Plus, I'm not going to listen to, like, no offense, I know you and Dev both worked at the Best Buy, but I walk in, I'm not going to listen to what Sean Capri I don't know you. Yeah. Just some teenager they hired. Like, I'm not going to take your word for it. I don't know anything. Yeah. So, yeah, I always put my faith into reviews. So I got real into the rating stuff I got from Lucas. There's the HD TV channel, I think, with the guy who does like all of he does like so many videos on it, like best settings to set up your Series X, your PS5 and all that stuff. I forget his name. I had it down, but he's been around like with the Digital Foundry folks a bit. But yeah, I do all that stuff. I go through all of those videos because I am very exhaustive in my information gathering. Like I'll become a mini expert on everything about the TV before I buy it. I'll know every port on it and everything that it does and at what frequencies and what spectrum and everything. Yeah.
I would say, unfortunately, you're probably right to not blindly trust the teenagers at those stores. You know, there were every once in a while, like you would get somebody who legit knew what they were talking about, right? But obviously that was few and far between, and they were easily taken over by not having to have those conversations. Like,
you got to build a rapport with somebody like that. Like I used to think of that with GameStop. I used to have a GameStop that I had actually trust. They're like, hey, play this. It's really good. You know, but that took a long time for me to get there with somebody, because most of the time I go in, somebody says like, "Oh, I love this game." I'm like, the game's awful.
On a much smaller risk scale. You
Yeah.
know? Like, gonna take a long time to build up the rapport so I can trust this guy's $60 recommendation.
Exactly.
Rather than let me put you together a $12,000 home theater package.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not
knowing that he's going to be benefiting from every upsell as well, and that was the whole thing. You always try to find the win-win, and that was I never felt like I was tricking anybody. That was the one thing, and maybe that's why I didn't make like a gazillion dollars.
Sure.
Where I did fine, but like I don't really feel like because also people would return stuff. Like the return policy was so easy to just if you felt like you got had, like you
especially if you buy at Best Buy and you're one of their perk members,
right?
You have like
they make it even easier. Yeah,
you have like 6 months to return stuff. I think at my level,
God,
like it's forever long.
And with no commission there, it wouldn't be so killer. But when you work in commission and a return comes back, like it comes off your check. Like that commission, you get a negative commission. Whatever you made a month ago or whatever, it comes back and it's like comes off your current running total.
Devin corrects me. He says 45 days and 6 months.
Definitely not 6 months.
I feel like mine's longer than 45 days, but I'll take. I mean, he's the expert. But I returned something that I swear was like a really long time.
Even Costco had to get theirs under control.
I couldn't even believe. I was just like, wow, this is still available? Wow. Because every now and then I'll go and look through my purchases, and they have like the little button highlighted to it. It's like, this is returnable. You're like, what? I bought that so long ago.
Well, I love the obsession over it all. And I think I might have told you about this before. Like my brother bought a really expensive Sony TV. Now he's got his PlayStation 5. It doesn't have all the things. And he's so mad. And it's just like, how do you not, you can't get yourself in that situation. Like he spent a lot of money. Yeah. And he's talking about like, maybe I'll just move that TV into the basement. I'll get a different one. And it's like, man,
get out of it.
You got to sell it.
Get as much out of it as you can before it's too late.
Before somebody else realizes that it doesn't have the thing.
Get out of it. That's what I would do. Get out of it.
And he's like me, like once you know, like maybe you missed it and like for whatever reason you just didn't like it's just like can't even look at this thing anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to throw up.
I think we're all that way. Like when you start chasing the tech, like when you're on that side of it, when you start chasing the tech, you'll always be that way. Dude, what was it? Okay, so I love Kena, Bridge of Spirits.
Oh, good. Nice.
When I first started playing it, I was noticing the character having like some ghosting when I was changing directions on the thing, and it was driving me nuts.
Yeah.
I sat there for like an hour and a half tuning my TV settings to eliminate it. Like like as best as possible on the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Just that, like, seriously, an hour and a half. Just going through every setting, YouTubing different settings, going through forums, getting different tips and tricks from people, because that was something I didn't actually plan for when I got the new TV. I was like, oh yeah, I've got to set it all up again, because the other one I had already done that when the Series X came. So yeah, I had to walk through that whole process all over again. Go through all the calibrations, all the HDRs on all the different systems and all the different inputs. Yeah.
And we live for it. Somehow like the thing that you know that you are, I don't know if you're enjoying it or whatever it is, but it taps into that like special part of your brain that like where you actually are losing track of time. Apparently that's a good thing. Like elite athletes talk about this. It's called flow. Like apparently you were in it. Like something was being, and I've been there. I've been up until like, 4 or 5.
I wasn't upset at all. I was like learning all the things. If I didn't understand it, I was Googling it and like, no, it's an instructional point, but yeah, like I didn't buy this giant TV for it to ghost.
I know,
for it to look like that. So I had to like put it in game mode, but then it was the colors were muted more in game mode that I didn't like, so I wanted it to be in vibrant mode. So then I basically had to set the TV up in vivid, but with all the game settings on, which is interesting because if you start turning on the instant reaction and the VSync and all that, it grays a lot of those options out.
Right.
So then you've got to like set them up in advance and then turn everything else on.
I never would have figured that out.
There's a whole order of operations that has to happen.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I got
God bless the people who figure that stuff out.
Yes, exactly. And those are the type of people I do follow. I subscribe to those channels.
Oh, that's great, man. I'm excited. Because we basically got I did not get a green light on a second Series X though. That is one thing that but I didn't get a red light. I just didn't get a green light.
I almost bought Jack one. I've been trying to get that Halo one for a month.
Oh, I forgot that you were actually looking for it because it did show up a little while ago. I can't remember who tweeted. It must have been a Wario tweet or something, or maybe it was in Canada. That might have been it.
Oversaturation of colors, Dev. I like color. I like it to be color. Like my green to be green, not brown, gray, green. Like green.
Yeah,
the color green.
I can't, and I won't make any judgment on your color settings based on your pictures.
No, like it's possible. He's probably right because all of my colors and everything when I share it are really, really bright and vivid, and some people don't like it. Some people think it's a personal thing. I do. Yeah. I like a very colorful picture, especially when I'm playing a cartoony, colorful game. Yeah. I want it to be very vivid. So
I'd love to see it.
I see people when they do. I don't have my phone. Oh.
That's like my assumption is that it's I think that I can get a sense of what it would look like in real life, like based on the pictures, but it's always tricky to tell. But
it's never going to be the same. So let's see here.
Looks great for screen grabs. Yeah, it just kind of just screams color.
I think it looks great in general. This is I wouldn't have it any other way. Let's see if I can do this correctly to where it doesn't fade out. No, that's not going to work. It's too bright. It's too bright for the monitor.
So much color. The webcam can't even handle it.
Yeah, I can't. I'd have to. Well, you know what I can do? I can do this. I can set this up. Give me a second.
I'm just realizing, when I think about oversaturation, I think about, I'm so old. My parents used to have a TV in their room that would have dials on it around the channel changer. You go ka-chung, 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 and it would change the channels. And there was a dial around it, which one of them was saturation, the other one was something else. And we would just crank that, and we would just mess around with all these different dials on all the things. Dad had a stereo system and his TVs, and we were just messing around with stuff. And knowing how I am, I don't know how I ever put up with that. You just kind of shut down, I guess, a little bit. You turn it into dad mode. You get grumpy and disconnected, I guess.
There.
Look at this. Oh, look at this. You've got a nice way of showing that. That does look really good. That actually looks really good.
Yeah, I don't look at this image and go, wow, what an oversaturation of color.
I agree. And actually, that's not what I would have expected given other pictures I've seen from you that you've shared. Yeah. That actually looks really good. The green and the blue look like green and blue should.
Mm-hmm. And the green that's bright on the right side, that's because the sun and everything is shining on that side versus the green that's in the shade, and you can tell the contrast between the two.
Dana says, when I first played Ori, I couldn't look at anything again without being disgusted because I wanted that. It wasn't that world. It's hard to go back after anything.
Do you love
go play Metroid after playing Ori? Oof. Maybe I shouldn't upset the Metroid fans.
Oof. Yeah, you don't want to do that now.
I am, and you know what? But the thing is, the thing is, I've been hinting a little bit. You know what? I'm probably just going to be buying Metroid as well because I'm at the point where I'm I don't know what else I'm going to be playing on my Switch.
Are you saying? Oh, I mean, I'm with you there. I mean, I'm definitely
on my Switch.
I'm definitely going to play Metroid. Don't get me wrong. I'm definitely going to play Metroid, but I'm playing Far Cry 4 first. So I'll be behind everybody.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, because they come out the same day. Or the day after each other or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'll be playing Far Cry first.
Man, we're in it. I'm playing Tales of Arise right now.
I played the demo.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Better than Scarlet Nexus. I know you kind of fell off on that one. Which one?
All of them.
Chronicle? Wow.
Which is better.
Wow.
I mean, it's just playing playing Xenoblade 2 really turned me off to the franchise. And playing the remastered version, which of a game that I loved back when I originally played it. But playing it remastered just made me want more. And I feel like that's so often either with RPGs, even Fire Emblem Three Houses felt that way. It was just look better, be more fun to play, do better. Mm-hmm. And dude, Tales of Arise is like that. It's here's these RPG things you used to know, but now they're better. It's yes, this is good. Look how much fun this combat is. Look how much fun I'm having pulling off these moves, and look how awesome the screen looks when these animations happen, and look how beautiful this world is. Versus
and how not
Dragon
arduous.
Quest 11.
Yes.
It's it's such a leap forward from that.
Do you ever go into, and there's probably a dozen or so, or maybe even more JRPG examples where you get into a battle and you're I guess I'll do this. And it has not happened with me at Tales of Arise. You jump in there, it actually encourages you to get through it as fast as humanly possible. You get bonus points and whatnot. Whereas everything else, like, you know, I think of like a Bravely Default where they've got like the option to play it at 4 times speed, and it's like, is that really the design element you need to put in there? Is like to allow me to fast forward? Like, isn't that the sign? Isn't that like a red flag of some sort? I don't know.
We should make this more compelling or more.
Yes. Like I remember.
Let them skip it faster.
Just play it faster. Like you are obviously acknowledging
something.
Perhaps this might be taking a little bit too long to get through.
Yeah. I only played the demo. I played it for about 20 minutes right before dinner the other day. And my takeaway was I've got to get this game at some point when I'm between a lull.
It's going to be so cheap.
I'm hard to buy a game right now because I've just got so many in the path, like in the pipeline on the way. But at some point, I will hit a lull, and that's kind of up on my to-do list.
I don't know about anytime soon. Jay says that some people like the slow JRPG game.
I've heard that. Yep. I've always heard that when I've talked to real RPG fans, that's what they always tell me. You're just not into RPGs, and fine. Maybe I'm not.
I guess so.
That's why Tales of Arise exists, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not that into
dummies like me. Yeah, I just want to slam the A and X button.
Caro used to hit me with that all the time. She used to talk about it all the time, how much she loved grinding these games, doing the same thing over and over. I'm just like, yeah, not for me. I think it was our biggest issue with Xenoblade, and honestly, Xenoblade 2 just ran like junk.
Yeah,
you know, it's just like not very good.
Yeah,
so,
and that is it with Monster Hunter Stories 2. I think is probably going to be just my final. As much as we've talked about it.
Dev says Final Fantasy VII Remake. I've always been scared to play that one because I've made fun of that game for so long, but the remake looks awesome. It looks right up my alley. So.
Oh, is that like he's saying like that? Like he's recommending that because it takes care of all that.
That'd
garbage?
Be my impression. Is that
that's what
from
it seems like.
Everything we just said about Tales of Arise probably is also can be attributed to because I remember when they first demoed Final Fantasy VII, I was getting like Devil May Cry vibes because it looked awesome.
Yeah,
I give them credit for that. It looked awesome. I'm still gonna play it because I want to reserve the right to make fun of it.
And I might have to go back to Devil May Cry. I might have to try that again because I feel like since I last played it and kind of tossed it to the side, didn't really get it. I've played games. Yeah, I could play like kind of the best version, 120 hertz.
I mean, I love Devil May Cry 5. It's really good.
I've never loved it. It's got a great intro. Played in secret.
Dev knows me too well. Just turn the console, put the console in offline mode.
Yeah.
Play Final Fantasy VII. Just never tell anybody.
There's no way you would want to hide anything. Like I don't know that you would play a game in. I don't know if shame is the right way to say it. Like you wouldn't play in a game like that. You would tell people. No. It's just an oncurring joke. It's just funny. Yeah. I like making fun of it. Mm-hmm.
It's part of my shtick.
Yeah.
I'd hate to lose it. That'd be such a shame.
Well, yeah, before you know it, you might actually be an RPG fan, and then maybe this whole like shtick against the RPG cave and Garrett and everything.
I definitely am not an RPG fan.
There's a spectrum there as well.
There's a spectrum.
And even with Garrett, too, it's interesting. It's interesting watching him or listening to them. It's like, well, if you thought like Garrett was an RPG fan, then it's like, well, we'll have a listen to Ryan.
Yeah.
For a little bit too, and it's. Oh my god! Like I couldn't even be there sitting next to Garrett, let alone sitting next to Ryan, who just goes like, "Sit down, Garrett. Let me tell you 142 things about the Tales series or whatever."
Get your notepad.
Get it out, man. Uncle Ryan's gonna learn you a thing or two. Garrett's like, "Oh, okay." It's really interesting to see. The Tales story is awesome, though.
It's exciting.
Point in the chat.
I'm gonna get it on sale. I'm gonna get it cheap at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I got so much to play. I need to finish Canada this week before Far Cry, and then I'll have Metroid, and then Metroid gets me to Mario Party, and Mario Party gets me to some other game I'm forgetting about, which gets me to Pokemon, which hopefully gets me to it's not Dying Light anymore. Whatever else. Forget what that is. Halo's
Halo.
Free. Oh, that's the other thing. Forza. That was the game I was talking about. Yeah.
You got that other
Metroid
console.
gets me to Forza, and Forza gets me to Pokemon, and Pokemon gets me to Halo. Yeah.
I like this. See, this is where I want to draw. I want to have like a stepping stone little journey, like a little Donnie.
I've been really good this year because I have not bought games while I'm playing games.
Yeah.
So I've been really holding on to that, and I think Dev would agree. I've been really I'm not going to buy I didn't get Eastward. I know everybody in Switchland's talking about Eastward. I can't get it. I'm playing stuff.
I don't even know what it is. You're right. Everybody is talking about it.
Yeah, it's like I'm playing a game right now, so I'm putting everything off. I didn't get Sonic Colors because I was playing something. I'm not going to get Tales of Arise because I'm playing something. But when I stop playing something, those games will come up.
Of all the games I've purchased all year, and they're probably more this year than in most years previous, I think Monster Hunter Stories might be the only one that I'm a little bit sad about how little I played of it, but everything else I'm like perfectly fine with it. Like, I think I got exactly the amount, if not like actually finishing the games. But Sonic Colors didn't finish, but I'm good.
I used to just keep buying everything and buy everything and buy everything.
Yeah.
And then I just really just noticed like I wasn't playing them. Or wasn't getting through them. Not through them because I don't feel like I have to beat things, but I wasn't playing them.
And that's what I mean too. Yeah.
Like and these are games that I'm actively playing. Like I'm not playing for a day. Like I'm actively playing the games that I've been playing for weeks at a time. So like Kana's great. It's absolutely great. I'm absolutely loving it. It's everything you could want. So
Jay's had a good tweet the other day, and maybe we can chat about this a little bit, and maybe if I get it wrong, you can correct me in the chat, about how prior to like maybe this year, maybe the last year and a half, there wasn't really the commentary that a game felt like a PS2 game, and now it's like that seems to be like an overused almost, maybe even a lazy criticism that we're hearing about a variety of games.
I didn't like it in terms of with the Kana thing. I don't think it's very fitting. I understand the gist. The gist is it's a very linear adventure game, but I don't think that's like I don't think that's defined by old, because Journey is a very linear adventure game and it's amazing. Right. And you know, like Greg Miller wasn't talking about why it was a PS2 game when it came out. Right. You know, like sometimes you just get these narratives, and I'm always wondering like how the zeitgeist, I guess is the word everybody uses, like how the sphere of this stuff all seems to usually catch on to one thing.
The echo chamber.
And they all just kind of dig in on that one thing. I always thought it was a little interesting that so many people ran with that narrative.
Well, and especially for everybody talking so much crap about Philip Mewson, which obviously he deserved to be taken down for plagiarism, but it's like, maybe like let's make sure that we're all practicing some individual critical thought. Like if you really do mean like it feels like a PlayStation 2 game, then like let's talk about what does that actually mean.
Yeah, tell me why.
But to me, like that sounds like pretty rough controls. You know, it's one of the first things that comes to my mind.
Control's great. Control's
right.
Like
and that's just like
a dream. It's like a Zelda game. I mean, it is a Zelda game. Like it's a Zelda game that's not Breath of the Wild. Like right now, everybody thinks Zelda means Breath of the Wild. It's not. It's what the entire past of 3D Zelda games has been. That's Kana. It's a Zelda game. It's Darksiders 2. It's Tomb Raider. Like, it's a Zelda game. It's that thing. It's that game that we've all known and loved. It's not and so that's the thing. The thing that I took hard on is, you're right. Jay says it's not always an insult. He's 100% right. A lot of people aren't meaning as an insult. They're meaning that it's not like, in today's world, everything is open world, giant, you know, expansive space, go explore. In terms of action adventure games, right? Yeah. You think of something like Biomutant is even like that, right? Like this game is much linear than even that.
Well, in that case, though, like it's really hard.
But with PS2, a lot of people I've seen a lot of like the professionals bring up mascot games. They openly say this is a PlayStation 2 game, like the mascot adventure games we used to have, as i.e. Crash, Spyro, things like that. And like couldn't be further from the truth.
Right.
Like it's not like
so
that.
If you're gonna use
it's not like that at all.
Be accurate with it.
Even Jak and Daxter, it's like it's really not kind of like that either.
But it's such a loaded term. Like such a
jumping around and collecting coins and stuff like that. It's not like a Banjo. It's not like that at all. Like the platformer PS2 thing doesn't make sense. Now, what I said was it's pre-reboot Tomb Raider. Like what Tomb Raider was before they reboot. Right. That is kind of what this is, which again is to say is a Zelda game. It's a Zelda game.
Well, that's PS1. Yeah. Tomb Raider original was I played it on PC. I didn't even know it was on PlayStation.
I didn't know it was on PC.
Yeah.
The game came
most
out
people
on PC.
Don't.
Yeah.
Most people don't.
You're blowing my mind.
Yeah. No. That was my and the other game.
Beyond Good and Evil, another good one.
Legacy of Kain is another game I played on PC. Didn't know it was. Most people know that. If they do know it at all, they would know it as a PlayStation.
And when I said on our podcast, like Darksiders 2.
Yeah.
Like Kana gives me very Darksiders 2. Obviously without the hell and ghosts and stuff. Like, but from a
which actually sounds better to me.
From a design. It's very Darksiders 2.
See, this is why people like listening to you, because like you kind of at least acknowledge where maybe the narrative is and go like, I'd just like to add a little something more or clarify some things that people might have heard about this thing. Like, because I've listened to a lot of people talk about Kana, whatever. And I don't get intrigued by a lot of games until I really talk to you about it. I'm like, oh, I hadn't heard about it put in that way. And actually, Dev kind of made a mention of that on maybe it was the first play some video games, like just very purposeful with your commentary on games.
When I say something about a video game, I like to give you a reason why. I'm always like that. I like to support my argument, and like I think that just comes from like, that's like old high school debate team and argumentative analysis essays and stuff like that. Like I just used to do that. So like if I'm like, I really like it, I'm like, I want to give you like an A, a B, and a C why I like it. I might give you something that I don't like about it, but I don't want those things to like detract from why I do like it, and vice versa. If I'm going to dig in on something, I'm going to tell you why I didn't like it too. Like, here's why I don't like this.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to be like, it's old. It reminds me of how games used to be. Why? Tell me why. Why does it remind you like that?
I feel like you've sort of just been like refined through your own asking those questions of reviews that you've read or listened to over the years, and you just sort of like naturally build those in. But like for me, I would look forward to somebody challenging me on my opinions of games as I'm rambling on, like, hang on, you said something there, like, what does that mean? Like, tell me a little bit more about that. Like, because I have a tendency to just go like, I really like this game, here's words. Right. Because there is something, so many of us do this now. So many of us have a podcast. We will get review copies, or we'll just play a game and tell people how we like about it. But it doesn't mean everybody's great at it. And I wouldn't claim to be great at it, not even close. But I feel like I would get better at it if I were like, just maybe pause for a little second. Somebody asks like, hang on, like, what did you mean by that? That sounds like a blanket statement that you're making. And a lot of the criticisms I would have of other reviews, I would actually be quite open to that. Yeah. And I was scared of it in the early days when I was actually writing reviews, which would cause me to take far too long to write them, because I would halt myself through the writing process thinking, what might somebody comment at this paragraph or sentence or whatever. And that's not a good flow to get into. It's easier to have that in a dialogue.
You're writing from the wrong perspective.
Well, and a new, like, just not confident in my own like abilities, or just. So yeah, just early rookie stuff, honestly.
But I don't think it's rookie stuff. I think you're in that regard. You're speaking from a combative angle, where the focus should really be more on the product you're reviewing and your feelings about it.
And I think that's where I would be now.
Yeah, let the post discussion come when it happens, but you can't write from that angle. You can't be like, oh, I wonder what people are gonna think about this. You gotta get it out there and then deal with it.
And I mean, like 2014, 2015, 2016, Sean, like that, like We the Nerdy writing days.
For the record, and I'm not just trying to blow smoke your way, I always really enjoyed your reviews.
They took a long time, though, man. Like
they were thorough.
Yeah,
and I like that. I like that.
Well, you and I think that's why I think we get along. Like we want to do a good job about it, and you just, I don't know. Like I think it matters, because I think like otherwise, why say anything at all? Like if you don't really have anything. But the other part of it is that you're always practicing, like you are live practice. Every game is a practice, and every practice is a practice. I don't know. We talk about practice.
I mean, you do put in reps, right? You get
That's
used to it. Dev says take notes. Like I never really try to like I don't really do reviews anymore. The stuff that I know about Kena is like stuff I saw reverberating on my Twitter. Like I didn't read any of the reviews or anything like that. I just saw it. It was hard to get away from it.
You review like you do take notes. Like
I do,
actually. That's to say that you're detailed.
I don't always do it though, so that's the thing. I only do it if I'm either like if it's something I care about, like if like No More Heroes. I started playing Kena.
Yeah, so good.
I started playing Kena, and I was like, I really like this game. Now I'm gonna start taking notes. You know, like that does happen because it's like because I want to be thorough. Like I want to tell you things. So like you'll hear me often on a podcast be like, I wrote a few things down. Like that's because I wanted to collect my thoughts. I don't want to forget something.
Right.
You know, like so as I'm playing something, I'll just jot down a couple notes to myself to kind of put myself back in that train of thought that I was having.
Especially first impression thoughts, which it's interesting. Like if you were writing a review generally from the perspective of like somebody who's finished the game. I have a few notes here. Yeah,
I have a few notes here. That's when you know it's going to be
a Donnie shirt.
It's going to be a long podcast.
That should be a shirt for PSVG. I have a few notes.
Yeah, and yeah, it can be good or bad, but he's right. I only take notes when it's something that I care about, like something I want to talk about. Otherwise, I'll give you like very general impressions. I'm like, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it because it was fun, or I like it because the character is good, or I liked it because it feels good, or it looks pretty. But when you hear me go, I've got a few things, like I've really dug in on something for a reason.
I do think that it's important, especially in the first impression kind of stage of like tracking some of those things down, because depending on the game, you could be like rendering your verdict or writing your thing or talking about it, 2 weeks afterwards, or however many dozens of gameplay hours, in which case, but you're speaking perhaps to an audience who hasn't been along that journey with you. So like they're going like, I don't even know what you're talking about. And you're talking end game stuff. Like maybe a connecting kind of conversation would be in the first couple hours, like I was really wowed by this certain thing and talking about the journey there. I think that that's really important. It's hard to keep in mind what it's like to be new at something, really, like once you have the experience. So that's a hard, man. I still have my notes from like when I played Dragon Age Origins. That was one of my first kind of like quote unquote review things I did. Nice. I wrote everything down, man.
Did you really?
Absolutely.
Like a synopsis of everything that happened?
It was terrible. Like it probably took me 2 or 3 times longer to play the game because it was just like, and that's a long, like it's not like I did it for whatever.
I think it was was honestly the stuff that I saw on Twitter when I started seeing all that PS2 mascot stuff, and I was playing it. I was like, it's just wrong. Like it's not the same. So then in my head, as I'm playing it, I'm like, yeah, this is very Zelda. This is very Tomb Raider. So I'm like taking down notes because the comparison is something that everybody does in almost every review. But it serves a purpose in video games. I've seen a lot of people that are like, not everything has to compare something to something else. And that's true. But a lot of times giving somebody that doesn't have an idea of what it is, something similar, puts them in the right mind place to then hear what you're about to say.
Which is
funny, when I say like, hey, this is a Zelda game. And then I start talking about mechanics, or I start referring to the graphics, I start painting a picture, and I say Pixar, all of a sudden your head, you start to build a vision of like what's happening. And
it's funny how like that to me, and it's just maybe different audiences, but to me it's like that creates the clearest picture. And sometimes when we think maybe that's a little too cliche or we shouldn't do that,
then
you work around it.
Says, it's not
I don't feel Zelda at all playing it, so
so you can't win them all.
But that's and anytime that you and it's basically the same thing. Like, to be honest with you, it's the same saying it's a Zelda game versus a PS2 whatever. Like it's a broad statement, and there's so many different like elements of Zelda games, and there's so many different elements of a PS2 game that somebody might pick up on. And when they think of a Zelda game, they might think of whatever.
Which is why, like, when you start talking about it, like when I was on the podcast, like, is very Twilight Princess-y, almost Skyward Sword-ish-y, in the way that like you enter like these little areas. It's not even hard to call them like a labyrinth. It's not like a dungeon crawler. Like when I'm speaking, I'm more or less speaking to the game design. Like you start going down a linear path, but then you realize that the path like crisscrosses over and under each other, and like it starts to build out, and you can find secrets and hidden things, and and that is a very like Zelda-ish thing to do. And even Wind Waker, while it has like this giant ocean that you can explore, like every little island kind of builds out that way. It's just like an object of design and how they've designed the game. It doesn't have that big sandbox that it's all there, like for you to like go explore. That's very, and that's why I think that's why when Dev and I were saying it's like Tomb Raider, Darksiders, Beyond Good and Evil is very similar, and all of those games pulled something from Zelda. It's very similar.
And that's why I think is really a fun thing to do, like to go along that journey with you when you say it's like this, and it's like, okay, let's see where he goes with this. And then the connection, it's like it rarely falls flat. I think it's rare for you to make a claim like that, and then you to say, okay, this is what I mean by that, and the person go, no, that's not it at all. Like it seems like
the
even
last
Jace
one
just said it, like you won me over. He just said
the last one that got me in hot water was Odyssey.
You should say it's a Kirby game and see what people say.
Yeah, my Odyssey review people did not like.
So. Nobody wanted to. That was in like the heyday of the Switch. Nothing was bad except maybe 1-2 Switch and ARMS. People didn't really evangelize, but that was okay. They had enough of the other stuff.
Mr. Shifty.
What was the Snake one?
Oh God, Snake Pass.
Oh yeah, there's a few things in there. Yeah. But man, nobody wanted to entertain the thought that maybe Mario Odyssey wasn't the best
Mario game ever.
Best Mario game ever.
That's what they said.
Like it's okay for the Switch to have the best Zelda game ever, and then maybe not the best Mario game ever. Like that would have been fine. That would have been okay.
Yeah.
But it's a fun romp through. Like you can play. Like I like to pick it up every once in a while and go. I just set my expectations differently.
I still do it as well. Yeah, I'll go through it. I was going to replay it, and I played like 3 worlds of it, and I was like, I'm good.
Yep.
Like, turn it back off. But yeah, I still do it every now.
I like it contained. What
about I was gonna say we talked too much about me. How was Halo night?
Oh, dude, Halo's so fun.
Digging it?
Halo is so fun. Yeah.
Nice.
I wanted to, and the one thing that I didn't really get out of playing Halo, which I was kind of looking forward to, it's possibly because it's the whole like technical beta thing, was just like sitting down and going, holy crap, Halo is here. Like I didn't get that. I don't know if I'm describing that well enough, but like that moment, and oddly enough, I had it with Halo 5. Like, and maybe it was because I got it for review. That was a huge deal for me back in those days. Just to be able to play it early, that was a massive thing. But I didn't get like it's finally here, and I'm like just butterflies playing it. It kind of did seem a little bit like now we're playing Halo, and I was excited to play it with people, and I was glad that it was good and all of those like super positive things. So it's just kind of keeping it all in mind.
It's interesting. Yeah. I didn't feel that way when I played the test flight, but I'm not that into Halo, so
yeah.
Like for me, I won't feel like Halo is here until the campaign is here.
That's kind of what I'm hoping is like maybe that moment is still coming. But
I hope so.
I always have a strange relationship with betas and stuff because sometimes I will purposefully avoid them because I don't want anything to be ruined, you know, like or for me to get my fill or whatever, or for my opinion. There's only one real chance for a first impression, and you kind of dance on that landmine with a beta. And
I feel more often than not, betas or demos turn me off from stuff for me. It's very rare that I play a demo and I'm like, oh, I want to buy the game.
No, this is it. Like I was saddened that because they just shut it off. It was very much like a test fire thing, like Splatoon. They shut it down, like you couldn't play anymore, and that was like, well, that sucks. I'd actually really like to play more. And I think there might be one more session tonight, so I've got to do a bit of a.
Jack's trying to get in. About 30 minutes away from the start. He wants to get into it.
Yeah,
because he was gone, so he didn't get to play it. I put this down on. You know, his thing is next weekend. Like, he wants to play just because he likes it, but he's not excited to play Arena. He wants to play Big Team Battle.
Yeah.
So that's what I was trying to tell you. So Jack wanted the Halo Xbox for his birthday. He originally wanted the Pokemon Switch system, which is a much different ask, right?
Yeah.
Talking about like $200 versus $600.
Yeah.
So I told him, I was like, look, I'll try. But we made this deal. And I told this story on the podcast, so I'll be quick, but it was like, if I get you this very expensive Halo Xbox, like that's your Christmas and your birthday present.
Yeah.
Like you can't be expecting like much more.
Have you done that before with him? Have you done that negotiation? Because if that's the first one, it's very special. As a kid, you don't forget that soon.
I did it with him when the first Pokemon Switch Lite, or first Pokemon, the Switch Lite was released. The pink and what was like Sword and Shield, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like when he did that, he was like, I want that. And I was like, okay. I was like, but just let you know, like, it's a big present. Yeah. Now, he obviously got more stuff than that, but it's like, I never want to set the expectation to him that, like, it's totally okay to ask for $300 worth of stuff on your birthday.
Right.
Like, come on now. Like, that's not going to happen every year.
Yeah.
I ain't got it like that. And then when he comes and asks for $550 plus tax and everything else, Xbox is like, that's a very big ask.
Yeah, you need to know.
Yeah, like that's a big ask. There is a limit. So I told him that. I was like, look, you can get this Pokemon thing or you can get this Xbox thing. That's even if I can get one. And he was like, I want it. I want it so bad. And dude, I feel for everybody out there that's trying for consoles because I've tried for a month on 4 different websites.
Wow, and this is you. You get them.
I haven't got close. See, here's the thing that I hate most about it is I had one in my cart the day it was announced. I could have totally had one. I had it on the Microsoft account. It was right there, but Jack didn't tell me he wanted it until like 4 days later.
Yeah.
So like I missed the opening and I had it, and now that he wants it, I can't possibly find one anywhere. Anywhere. I've tried. I was at Walmart on the website the other day when they went live. I tried in the morning and in the evening, and I sat there and I pressed this button and I pressed and held for an hour.
Yeah.
And couldn't get through. And I'm like, I feel like an idiot. I've just been sitting here staring at this web page. So long story short, since Dev's in the chat, I got him a Series S, and I just customized a skin for him.
That's cool.
And then I got him the Cortana Duke controller, like the limited edition Duke. Yeah, and then
like just for show, or is he gonna play with it? Like, is he gonna use it?
I don't know. But it's just like I wanted to get him something special. that was Halo related because he's so into Halo right now.
Yeah.
And then I got him a couple little Halo things, and I'll give that to him instead. And I hope he won't be too upset that it's not the one that he wanted. But I don't. He's not that way. He's not that spoiled. He's gonna love it.
That classic Simpsons thing.
Yeah.
Marge gets the gift and Bart looks back, and it's like, I love that like eye-opening. I wish I could remember what the present was. But when my parents kind of did the similar thing, like, you can do that, but like that's birthday and Christmas kind of like put together, and it's like, there's choice here. Like it just opens a whole new world of possibilities. Bone Storm. I don't even know what that is, Jace.
I got no idea.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, I might. It's funny the whole rationale that comes through your mind. You're like, you can have it, you can just hit the button, you can buy it, and then you just choose not to. Like there's that. It's just such a fleeting moment, and I am coming to regret not buying it because I could have had it as well.
Yeah, like with the game stuff, it's like just go ahead and get it and cancel because.
And such on a pre-order,
you won't get a chance. Like I got the white OLED. And so many people I've seen as we draw near to Metroid on my Twitter, I've seen so many people are like, I wish I got the OLED now. It was so funny because when they announced the OLED, the Twitter is lit up with people making fun of it. Now I see so many people wanted the OLED, and I haven't seen OLED pre-orders come up since that day.
That is funny because
like I've seen the Xbox come up like once a week for the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Right.
The OLED sold out in June.
Yeah.
Like they've been sold out since then. Like they haven't come out again.
Yeah, Kata says you always buy. Yeah, I mean, I used to like subscribe to the thought you just like, especially for pre-orders, like I'll make up my mind later, right? Like I want to. I'll make up my mind when I'm.
That's
clear.
why I had it in my cart. I had it in my cart because of that very
just
reason.
Buy
I was
it
like,
and figure it out later.
I could cancel, but in my head I was like, but I just did the Fable stuff on my console. I don't need another console. Like I went through all the gamer logic as to why this did not need to happen, and then 4 days later I actually needed one, and I haven't been able to get one since.
When we're talking about like the bigger TV going up in the main room upstairs, where we're at right now is I will basically wire it so that I could just pick up my Series X and move it back and forth. So there will be a whatever
like a little
2.1
jack.
and a power.
Yeah,
it'll all be there, just zip tied and ready for me to just kind of.
Can I interrupt you for a minute? I've always wanted to like build my own house and then like specifically build a gaming room. And then what I want is basically I want the wall that everything would sit on to have like one long shelf, and then I want like a walk-in closet behind that wall.
Nice.
So then I could just push all of the cords like through maybe like a fabric slit or like a cut in the wall, and then just like walk into the closet behind there and just plug everything in.
Yeah.
And just hide it so I could just move it all. It's like been a fascinating dream of mine in my head. I'm like, why aren't houses built with like cable management stuff built into the room?
A friend of mine builds like and now I don't know how the business is doing too much, but he was at one point like leading edge on smart homes. Right now you get like Google and everything does it, but at one point he built the houses like this, and so he would have exactly what you're talking about. Like every device was in this like cellar in the basement, and it was wired to every TV in the house, and with like a click of a button you could just.
Oh, so he did it like full Crestron, like he had a switch and everything. Oh, see, that's cool too. That's cool too. But I even just like if I just had, so like my room where my cubbies and everything are right here behind the camera, I have a closet right there, but it's not that deep. Like if it went as long as the wall, I'd be perfect, man. I'd cut like a hole and then put like, I'd cut like a slit in the wall and then I'd put like a little cover over it so it would be hidden. And then I'd just slide everything through, and I'd have power and everything hooked up behind it. It would be perfect.
So that's also a dangerous place to be in when you got the ideas and maybe just a little bit enough of the skill to just like, I just need to knock out this wall.
Just come down with a saw.
Exactly. You got like the hand-me-down tools from 25 years ago. What even is this? All I need.
I totally got this.
Knife?
I've got this.
I totally got this. Because obviously my parents have had an empty nest for however many decades at this point, and just now my dad is he's retired, and they're talking about like knocking down a wall in like that divides their room and my younger brother's old room. And so like that'll be a closet, and they're going to knock down another wall, and their bathroom's going to move into the current closet that they currently have, and it's just like this amazing plan. And it's like, you guys are, I mean, my dad's 72 at this stage. Like, he's like a massive project, dude. Just like, go to town, man. I guess so. Like, have at it.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He's a handy dude though, like, and it's very intimidating.
I
as
wish
well.
I was. I would do so much if I was, but I'm not. So I'm scared to do anything.
Takes him a while, and sometimes I'm surprised that it ever like lands and finishes.
Slow and steady, man.
I've worked alongside him with it. He's helped me with some of the stuff here, and I'm just like, what geography are you doing? Like,
my neighbor,
geography.
He's redoing his entire house. He's literally expanding his garage like further into the yard by himself. Dude's 80. I walked into his house. He showed me how he remade his bathroom. His bathroom looks like a bathroom at like a 5-star hotel.
Wow.
It's got marble and glasses. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, you just did it just because.
I had a friend who they were growing their family, and they were looking like they had a great garage. They got a great property spot, but like the house was a little tight for them. And they're like, they ran the numbers on how much better it was for them to just expand their house by whatever it was, 8 or 9 feet back into the backyard, rather than move and build the house that would be kind of equivalent. Like, that's what they did, and they lived in those living in those kind of renos though. Like, if you're doing it, then like even further praise to you. But like living through that crap, oh my gosh, man, you're disrupting the entire family, your way of life. Like your mornings are totally different. Like where you're sleeping, everything. Yeah, is this your kind of racist neighbor?
Yeah,
same guy.
He's extremely handy.
Look at that, redeeming qualities. A little bit, maybe not.
But I threw you off, so you're gonna have a little.
I don't know what I was talking about.
You're gonna have a little plug and play port with your console. So that, when I decided to interrupt you, I took a mental note of where you were.
It was a better.
I gotta get you back.
Place to go. That was a better place to go. Well, but I feel like it's a good place to at least start to go. Well, maybe that's too much of a pain in the butt, because it really isn't to just like pick something up. And
no, it's definitely not. But I'm with you. Like, you don't want to. You're like, nah.
Obviously, it's worth to just spend.
The answer is both. The answer is I need another one. Damn, I need another one.
Most definitely.
Sure. Well, I mean, you could always now, Sean. You could. I know you don't want to. But you could unretire that Gears Xbox behind you and just go full xCloud.
Yeah. Well, down here, I don't know if
I know you don't want to, but like, it's
that is
possible.
a real test. That is. You just put me through something right there.
And that'd be a great experience to talk about.
How much do you buy into this xCloud thing?
Because like, how much? Well, here's the thing is, how much would you play in that room versus where you normally play? Is it like 10%? Because if it's only 10%, then I say you go cloud. But if it's like half, no. Now you need a native solution.
The thing that this really exemplifies is like, you've got to work down through like a decision tree of like, when do you end up using cloud? Like, have you tried this? And have you tried this? Like, there's like probably 14
can you wire
options.
First things first, do you have an internet hardwire at the location of the new TV?
Yes, it comes from down here. It comes from down here, so
you could put that console back to use.
I did a whole thing like that. That's where I've talked about this before as well, where Chelsea's computer is down here, but I've wired it so she can use it upstairs.
Sure.
And so along with the cable that goes up for her to use her computer, I also sent up a network cable that's hardwired to our router and everything.
So if that's going to be like if that's the side piece. That's the other place that you can play games, but you don't play it often. And it's going to be the place like where the kids play.
Yeah,
and they're just playing Minecraft and stuff. Then it's like, man, you got that 1X.
I see where where that really should be. That should be in the bedroom. The xCloud option is in the bedroom. But the problem with what you're suggesting here, exactly. I don't know. Is it? The problem here that I'll point out is that we're looking to upgrade the TV. I want like a good TV here, and I don't know that I want xCloud on a good TV.
But what are you doing on that TV? Are you actually gaming?
Yeah, I think what the reason that we're even talking about this now is the kids are a little bit older, and I could be gaming. It actually could be it could actually replace this. Okay. Like where I'm at
then you need
here.
A console.
It's possible.
I mean, that's easy. You need a console.
It's possible. Yeah.
Yeah, because I too have a Gears Xbox One, but I have the 1S. I have the red one, not the gray one. And with replacing Jack's, because that's what Jack uses now, I was left with the dilemma of like, do I sell the console? I don't really want to because I like it. I really like that console a lot. I want to keep it. So I was like, well, what do I do with it? I could put it on the shelf and just like memorialize it, but I always hate doing that because I feel like I'm wasting. Like if it has no function, I'm like, I could just sell it. But I've heard you even say like I could sell it. Like it comes up often. Like you're like I could sell it.
I feel like I need to run it by you first. Like if I'm always thinking that like
I could sell it, but I guess the thing I'm thinking now is I could either put it in my bookcase and make like a little Gears area,
Mhm.
or I could put it in the bedroom and like it
Yeah.
could use it for xCloud or as a Blu-ray player or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm being like, if I feels like maybe a stretch to say this because I don't think about this often, but like really when I look at that console, like I do think about being sent to the Coalition to play Gears 5 for the first
Yeah.
time. Like I didn't get that console from that. I did pay for that console,
Console,
but it does
beautiful.
remind me of that, you know. And I remember seeing it on the shelf, like, oh, I wish that they would like send us home with something like that. Like that would be amazing. You just like, can I please take it because it was so good. So like, and I don't really look at too many as many items as I have behind me. You'd think that I'm a lot more sentimental about items, and I'm really not. But that one has a little something to it. And as I think
Nice.
about kind of commemorating this whole journey,
I'm definitely not gonna buy yours, but I'd love to buy one of those maybe on the cheap one day. And I'd like to have a space like on my cubbies where I have like the dueling Gears consoles, like
that's
side
a good
by
idea.
side.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't ruled that out either. But I gotta wait for this. I'm not gonna pay $500 for an Xbox One.
There was that guy who
It was
passed
way too damn
away.
expensive.
He was a huge Xbox fan. I think he might have been called Xbox fan or something. He had all the stuff. Like he had a giant room full of Xbox things. And I think it would be really interesting to look at the different Gears consoles. Like I only have this one. This is the only one that I don't have anything prior to that. That'd be kind of neat. I wish I kind of had something like that.
Yeah, they had 2 Xbox 360s and then they had a bunch of faceplates, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when I talk to Chelsea about it, just for like, and this is why I don't really bring it up with her all that much, because if I do, then we'll just end up selling it. Because to her, it's just like, it's clear as day, sell the thing. Like you're telling me it's worth a lot and you don't use it anymore.
That's where I normally am. Obviously, most folks that listen to me know, like I revolve stuff so quick.
Yeah.
So it has to have staying power for me to really keep it.
Yeah.
You know, like my Last of Us stuff is not going anywhere. My skateboards aren't going anywhere. Like they have staying power. They're like sentimental to me. My Gears console is like right there, but not really because it's just, you know, it's just a basic console.
I also think that this is the last One X that we have in the house, in which case it might actually be the last Xbox One, period. Like, I don't think we definitely don't have the original. I don't think maybe we have a One S as well. So what I'm trying to say is that like, I generally don't like giving like the last version of hardware away. Like I've got a PlayStation 3, I've got a PS2, like I've got all the things.
That's the difference. Is like I keep stuff, but my stuff are like memorabilia. They're autographs, they're steel books, they're collector's editions. I don't keep old consoles that I'm not using.
Yeah.
Like if I don't have if I'm not using console goes.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a legacy of consoles around me.
Well, we've always had, I guess I shouldn't say always, but Chelsea and I have known each other for 12 years or something at this point. So for at least that long, we've had more than one of pretty much every console because we don't share. Like we each have our own. But then when the generation is over,
beacon of marriage.
We don't share it. We have 2 TVs side by side.
What's mine is mine, and what's yours is yours. Don't touch my stuff.
Well, the other side of it is it means that we can play together. Like we don't want to do splits.
No, most people love your dual TV setups. Me myself included.
But I don't want to. I haven't had this like moment in a long while where I'm like, I got to bust out the 64 and play that. Right. But I don't want to in whatever 10, 15 years go, I'd like to play this game and I have the game and I don't have, like, I don't want that. It's such a hoarder's mentality.
You got
it's so brutal.
So I mean, I think every gamer goes through that, right? I definitely do. I have a 64. My 64 setup is amazing.
Yeah.
But there are very few consoles. See, like I still play it though.
Yeah.
So that's the thing is I'm not playing it. So like when I'm thinking about do I want to get rid of a console, it's like what am I still playing? Like I still have a 360 that I still play. Because it's the only place I can play NCAA football on. So it still has utility. Once the next NCAA football comes, that 360 is gone. Like it's at that point I'm getting rid of it. See, like I've bantered around with getting like a Dreamcast, but it's like how much am I really gonna play it? That's always stopped me.
Yeah, Dreamcast games I don't like
keep
the controller
stuff,
itself. You need the dual analogs.
I don't keep stuff that I don't play.
Yeah,
that's all. That's
and I can't argue with that at all. Like not even a little bit. And it really is. If I think about it, there's maybe one point in time where I was kicking myself that I had sold whatever console it was. I'm like, I wish I didn't do that. And then that caused me to kind of rebuy a whole bunch of stuff and spend a whole bunch of money to do that. And I'm kind of getting at that stage again where I probably could sell a bunch of this stuff. But you never get like if you're just offloading it. Then that's actually in the worst case scenario for you. Like instead of just getting rid of that one at a time when it's at maybe peak value. Like there's a good way to do this and there's a bad way to do this.
Sure.
And if I'm just looking at like a whole room full of crap, I'll put it up and say like, take the bin, $50 for the bin, whatever it is. Like that's where you're just gonna get had, and somebody will. I'm watching this one guy just flip stuff on garage sales all the time. Josh Stapleton does it as well, and I will be that person. Like if I let that happen, I'll never forgive myself. I don't want to give away just to get rid
definitely
of it.
Don't give it away. No, it's like, and that's the other thing is like unlike the 360, which I'd probably just dispose of, like the 1S, the Gears 1S still has value. I can trade it in for $200.
Yeah,
like that could be several games, it could be another purchase, like it could be controllers, like there's lots of things it could do. So I'm in that middle ground with my 1S that I don't exactly know what I want to do with it yet.
When are we gonna get an actual collector's edition? Because I think Halo is the first Series X. We don't have anything on PlayStation front. Has there been other than custom stuff that you guys do?
They're still hoping to just make more. They're just trying to make them.
Yeah.
I mean, they're selling out. PlayStations are selling out as fast as humanly possible. I mean, it'd be nice if they made collector's edition plates, but based on the PlayStation 4, that might be hoping too much.
Based on the PlayStation, like that, what do you mean?
Well, the PlayStation 4 had plates that they did for like a half a year, and then they stopped.
They did?
I mean, yeah, like outside of Japan, they never really did plates here.
I didn't even know they did that. Like you could just like pop it off and put on
the base model PS4, that glossy side, and the base. Remember the wedge, like the edge, slanted
don't you
one.
Slide that off, and
you can slide that off, and they made custom plates that you could pop on top of it. I had a Little Big Planet one, and I had another one.
Like first party stuff. Sony made it.
Yeah,
I had no idea about that.
Yeah, they had a bunch, and like in Japan, they had a bunch of colors, they had a bunch of designs, they did a bunch of Persona ones, Kingdom Hearts ones. They had a bunch of them. Metal Gear, I think, had one. Gear. Yeah, they had a bunch of them, but you had to import them. They didn't do them here, and they only did them for like a year, and then they introduced the Slim, and then they just stopped doing it.
Yeah.
So,
Dev says my response is case in point why they won't do that again.
And it's like
I didn't even know
the PlayStation 5 is perfectly made for that. Like those plates are such a standout. You could make so much money there. I mean, you see people already, like somebody just made black ones and they're selling like crazy. Like, and it's like, why aren't you capitalizing off of that? Like it would be one of my favorite consoles ever if they just gave me a shit ton of plates to buy. Like I would just be 3DS all over again. I'd buy more plates than PlayStation games. For sure. For sure, I'd buy more plates than exclusives.
Probably.
No, it's not probably. It definitely.
Well, it's just too bad. Well, now what about controllers though? You don't really do the Design Labs controllers.
I had my own custom PS5 controller made.
And then, for PS5. Oh yeah.
I've got
not Xbox.
I got the Fable controller from Xbox Pope. I've got my Elite controller. I swapped the shell on my other Xbox controller to the green one, and I have a white and black one. So on the Xbox side, like I'm solid.
What does Pope do with? What is the manufacturing? Is it a wrap that he puts on the controllers? Like,
no, they're full painted.
Wow,
they're dipped. So
really?
My Fable controller. Yeah, you want me to get it?
Sure. Yeah, because I've seen these come up, and usually what Pope does, at least what I've seen, is like the the digital design file that he has created is usually what I would see. And then I saw one, I think it was a Needler one. Somebody took a picture of the Needler a little while ago, and I wasn't sure what to make of it. That the of the like the printing process or whatever it was. I was just saying, like I saw the Needler one actually in person, where I had a realization that usually it's the design file that he shows. What is that? Okay,
it's Fable.
I don't see any okay.
It's like
I'm a fake Xbox fan. I haven't played.
Yeah, you'd have to be a Fable person to like get it, but yeah, it's Fable. And it's painted on there. It's real paint, face paint, and all that, and they swapped it out. And then this was my PS5 one that I had done.
Yeah, see, that's actually a really good red on that pit. Like, I
don't know if you can tell, but my trackpad is like glossy and it's like flaked. It's sparkly.
I got we did sort of like a vote on what the official Design Labs Xbox controller was going to be for the Xbox Drive, and I'm more just about like the fact that like the story behind this, that we allowed people to vote about it, and I remember the pictures looked really great, and then it kind of showed up, and it's still special because it says the Xbox Drive, and this will be like kind of like a trophy that I keep for.
What's
a long
that,
time.
Dev? What's that?
We've Gotta get you a damn shock mount. Oh damn! Why? What are you doing? What are you doing that to?
I'm hitting it just to bother him.
Yeah. Okay.
So my mount.
Hopefully, you got that out of your.
He hates my microphone, but it's it's screwed into the table here. So when
I was actually gonna say it sounds the sound like your mic sounds really good.
Thank you.
I actually think it sounds really good.
I like the Xbox Drive controller.
But I don't like, actually it looks better in person than it does, and I'm looking at the screen. I'm like, that green does not look like
it's very like lime green.
Yeah, it's actually deeper than what is showing up on screen, at least in my own thing in here anyway. But I wish that there were better colors, to be honest with you. Like, this is kind of like what I feel like kind of what we ended up with. I do wish that the it looks mint. Exactly. Yeah, it does look mint on the screen.
Mint's a better
it's definitely a deeper, it's definitely a richer green in person. But yeah, I'd like to see them just go a little further with that. Like, that they don't have like a, I don't think any of the colors had me going like, ooh, I love that color quite so much. It's such a personal thing, but like that red was very deep. It was very, I don't know, it was a very rich color.
I mean, Elaine and I brought this up before, back on the old Empire days. Like, I wish they did a lot more with Design Labs.
Mm-hmm.
I wish you had patterns. I wish you had colors. I wish you could customize the buttons.
They got patterns.
Customize the triggers.
Yeah, they'll get that. The triggers, yeah, like, or paddles. I wish they could add paddles.
Yeah, I mean, everything just seems very basic compared to, like, otherwise, like, and I wouldn't even care if it was a very premium option because people would pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let people get nuts with it. Like, they just, it's just kind of like faceplates, and like you can pick different button variations, but you cannot customize the buttons.
Yeah,
like, I want my Y button to look like this, and I want my X button to look like this, and like, let people customize their controllers.
I mean, part of it is I kind of want to do more now. It's like, it's such a, I've done one, I've now grown accustomed to how much this costs, and kind of want to do a bunch more that I'll actually play with too, because I think this will just sit on the shelf behind me, and I actually regret a little bit that I didn't make one on the previous controller, only just to have like a couple generations in a row. It basically looks the same. I think Ryan Turford has a very similar controller I bought for him when he was when he joined the Xbox Drive. I wanted to give him a thank you. So he has the last version of Design Labs. Now I've got this one. I kind of like, that'd be nice to have two different versions of it.
This is from Colorware.
That's really good.
And they let you, not only do they let you pick all the different colors, they let you pick different finishes and different plastics.
Yeah.
So you can get glossy, metallic. Like, I got this matte, like, it's like candy red.
Yeah.
But like I said, my trackpad is gloss, but it's black and it's like sparkly under the light. Like, it's got like flake inside of it. It really stands out. I don't understand why Xbox doesn't have a lot of the same options that like Colorware has.
Yeah, could be paralyzing too. I wonder if they're probably limited mostly by manufacturing.
It's got to be manufacturing. Just having so many options makes it cost ineffective to do it. And if you really want to get that crazy with it, you probably just need to go the custom route anyway. So like, if you're looking at it and you're like, I really want to do it my way, then you probably need to go to a custom place and be like, let's actually design the controller.
You know what? And actually, I think you just nailed it. Like, what I'm missing from this, when I look at this and go like, I wish there was something else to it. I couldn't quite put my finger on it. I think it is. I wish it was a gloss. I wish this had a shine to it and a sheen, a polish that, especially as a thing that I'm not going to be playing. Like, this feels very playable. Like, I should be using this. It's like exactly, but it's custom. Like, it's a level up from the thing that I'm just going to be playing with. I don't want it to be just.
I play with my Wind Waker controller.
Yeah,
all the time.
Chelsea plays with her Splatoon one. We've got one from Bobby, but she plays with her Splatoon one, which I don't know. Like, I probably would have too. And I played a lot of Xbox One with my Halo 5 controller. And I got both of them.
I don't play with my Fable one, but I guarantee you I'll probably play Fable with it. The only reason I don't play with this one is I just have so many controllers.
Yeah.
I'm good with the other ones. I play with my Elite on Xbox, and then I play with this one on PlayStation. It's the custom one, but like, this is what I play. I mean, this is why I bought it.
I mean, if I even attempted to come up with a rule of what I'm going to use or not use, like, it's been broken a billion times.
I don't use my Gears ones anymore. But throughout the Xbox generation, I played with both of them. They're just semi-retired now. I don't need them anymore.
That's just it. Like, and maybe, I don't know, like, I've got this Space Jam one. I'd like to use that one. We're going to give it, oh snap, I forgot to do that last night. Ryan Turford, producer Ryan, we forgot to choose a winner for this Goon Squad. We got our reviews for the Xbox Drive. This is actually this one has grown on me quite a lot. Now I'm mad that we're giving it away. But whatever. Said I was going to do it, so we'll do it.
I like the one that had all of the like the blue, like the that had all.
Yeah,
the...
that's the one I'm keeping. This is one.
Is that one?
This is one. This is mine.
That one I like, except does it have like an EA or like a WB logo? I didn't like. I was like, God, you take that logo right out of the middle of the damn thing.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah, right in the middle.
But yeah, that one was my favorite. If I was going to get one, I would have got that one. But
got a nice Space Jam logo on the battery cover, right in the back there. So this is that one I'll keep. Toon Squad is Ryan's. I'll be delivering that to him next month.
I like that one.
Then, yeah, this is
actually
one,
yeah. You show it to me. That one like kind of makes a better first impression.
These in person, honestly, like they are way better than any pictures that even I've taken or anybody else. Like I couldn't take a good enough picture where I was like, yeah, that gets across what these things look like. Yeah, and again, like this Goon Squad. Oh, dude, it's even. I don't think I've looked at it really this closely. Like it's got some white spackle on the black on the like. It looks, dude. And even my camera, like it's not doing a good enough job of this. This
like
purple, and that's really, like this purple is a rich.
I love that deep purple. It's a funny thing that my wife always makes fun of. Purple's my favorite color. That's why I picked like their background that we have today. But funny thing, Sean, I've always like the car that I grew up always wanting was like a 70s Challenger Charger, like deep purple.
Right. Yeah.
Like an old deep purple muscle car. Like my first guitar was like a deep purple.
I love it, man.
So like my wife makes fun of me because she likes the way that the Challenger's painted now, but I'm in the back of my mind I'm always like I might paint it purple.
See, and I just like, why am I giving this away? You know, like why didn't I? Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, because you're
weaker moment.
What do you need another controller for, right?
That is it. That is like, what am I going to do with all this?
I'm with you there, dude. I've got like 8 Xbox controllers. Like I can't keep buying, and I bought the Forza one, which looks amazing.
Dude, I have danced around the buy now button on that controller.
I bought that immediately. Like that will be my new go-to controller. That'll be the controller that I use.
That will be. I could actually see that. Chelsea and I haven't done this yet, but I could see that one being the. Thank you for the lovely present that you bought me. You bought me this year for Christmas the Forza Horizon 5 controller. Like
I'm probably gonna sunset and get rid of my Elite once I get that one.
Yeah,
because my Elite is my main controller that I use, and I'll probably just go to the Forza one and. Because once I get the Forza, I'm not going to use the Elite anymore. That Forza one just looks too damn good.
Yeah, no, it's got to go. I'm looking for because I don't think that I.
We're painting that bitch purple. My wife really doesn't want me to paint it, and so like it's funny because the original, and I may be mistaken here, so if we've got a gearhead, don't hate me too much, but I believe the original I think it was Chargers. I think the original Charger colors was black, purple, green, and orange, and like when they brought them back now. They kind of kept true to that tradition. You see them out on the streets. They have these really bright, vibrant like paint jobs. I don't want that though. I don't want like the really bright neon colors. I want the old, dark, like metallic flake, deep purple, like almost black purple. Yeah, I like that a lot. That's why that controller is like almost spot on. I like that.
Yeah, man.
Plum, almost like that. It's nice.
It's funny nice. When I first got them, it was easiest the one. I'm like, I don't want that one. Like, and now that I'm looking at it, like they're side by side, I'm like, that was actually pretty sweet.
Show it back up. Pretty good. Put it back up to the camera again.
Now, like they come in these cool boxes as well. Like they're pretty.
I do like the purple a lot.
Good packaging, man. Yeah, Dev likes it a lot. People should, last chance.
Purple Rain controller. It's quite nice.
Yeah, it's actually really nice. They did a good, and for Space Jam, of all things, there's other things.
I still didn't watch.
Neither did I. We were supposed to actually get an early clip of it. Yeah,
I was scared that it was. Not gonna be very good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say anything. Like, I wish it was Kobe. I wish Kobe did a Space Jam. Can I just say that? I wish it was Kobe and not LeBron. Is that okay?
If Kobe was alive, it probably still would have been LeBron, though.
Probably. That's the but like, cause Kobe was too close. It was just like one generation too close.
Yeah,
it was like right after. Dev said my son loved it. It's definitely not for us. Yeah, I mean that's the other thing. Just not for us.
Yeah.
Even though.
I think it'll always be hard to beat the original.
I
mean, and it's like, I know everybody's like MJ and LeBron. It's like, dude, I'm thinking like Bill Murray. Like how much he added to that. It's like, you can't do that again. It's be really hard follow-up.
Be kind of awkward.
Yeah.
Just so old.
Like even replacing him or like trying to just do something different is going to feel weird.
Right. You know that there's that void. Like, what's that guy doing here? Oh, he's doing a Bill Murray. Yeah, not so much. Kobe definitely wouldn't have done Space Jam.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Because he was too focused on the game, or what?
No, like he had retired at that point. Like he just wasn't into that. Like he's got this whole I could go on a synopsis. LeBron has an entire agency that runs this, and like a big part of it is having that business. Actually, a big part of why he's in LA is expanding his agency and expanding his businesses. He has like this mogul thing going on. Kobe was never about that.
Yeah.
Ever. Kobe
Well, that's why I feel
Kobe
like
brand.
Shaq could have done it.
Like
Shaq
Kobe had Kobe brand, and like that's it.
Sure.
You know, like he
Sneakers.
he wasn't doing that type of stuff.
I would watch the Shaq Space Jam.
Not to say he maybe never would have. I mean, he was all LA, so he probably could have, but I don't think it was ever Kobe's MO. I don't think he ever wanted to do that. It was never his desire.
Well, MJ has like he did it first. So like this is going to feel like a copycat, at least it does to me.
Of course.
You know, like just trying to live up and do what Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
No, that'd be the movie I want to see.
Michael Jackson has been popping up on my YouTube feed for just I don't know what the heck is going on, man. YouTube is that evil like corporation that controls the media. It's like the bad guy from Tomorrow Never Dies. It's YouTube. Like, what are you trying to do to me? What message? How are you trying to control me by throwing me Norm Macdonald videos 3 weeks ago?
I've moved most of my YouTube to TikTok.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't do as much YouTube anymore. I'm almost like when I go to YouTube, I'm almost going there for something. Like I don't just scroll through my subscription.
Like these videos are so long.
It's not the long thing. It's like it's not what I'm into. And like my TikTok stuff is very specific, so it's just I'm basically just there for laughs.
Yeah.
But no, like I just don't do as much YouTube as I used to.
You still get a bit of that stupid TikTok kind of like 30-second stuff on the YouTube shorts anyways. I was showing Chelsea these two guys who do like pickup lines as heavy metal drops. There's these two just screaming their faces off like, "You have the voice of an angel." It's like so amazing. That's what I'm here for, man. Give me heavy metal pickup lines or things like that.
You see like some dumb stuff and you're always like, man, we need to do better as a people. Like as a society. There's again, spectrum. There's worse, there's less like, and I feel like the machine manipulating my brain mechanisms. Like as I'm flipping through, it's always the wait for it or they're going to do a trick shot and you watch them miss for 30 seconds. You're like, what am I doing with my life? I just watched this dude try and pull off this 1 in a trillion shot, and just like the video is him missing until he gets it, and then you're like, all right, that's the video. Yeah.
Like, yeah, in that moment I'm thinking, like, what have we stooped
to? We need doctors.
Yeah. We need like engineers and doctors.
Instead, we've got people throwing cards into like paper clips across the room.
Yes. Yeah, or the man, how many? This is sad that we know like the examples.
Let's say with like 2 million subscribers.
That's a whole other like, conversation. I don't know that I'm well equipped enough to do, which is like you have these people. The guy who I actually think is really funny. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's a black guy from Italy, and he does the the obvious Kwambi or something. Kwambi.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
He reacts to like people do like these life hacks and it's a super complicated thing. And they end up, and he just kind of goes like, we'll just do it more simply. And he just throws his hands. And he's like this, he's like a billionaire, just doing TikTok stuff.
Yeah.
And then you've got people who are like fighting to save people's lives or like building bridges or whatever, sending rockets to Mars. And they're like, they're probably doing fine, but they're definitely not this celebrity status. Or even like, if you want to go to teachers, like whatever, there's people who serve a larger purpose and can impact the world in a more popular way, or a more productive way. But maybe we can get famous just making YouTube videos, making.
That hasn't happened
commentary.
Yet. I don't think it's going.
Just waiting, Donnie. We haven't made the right move yet. The new Play Some Video Games podcast. That's
in year 6 we take off. How weird would that be?
I mean, there are others who have
I'm good.
Have done that, but
I'm good.
Imagine your Discord. Your Discord is enough. Like it's busy enough.
It's busy enough.
Yeah, you can't have
with and actually Dev and I have talked about that because we've been in other Discords that are like really humming with like 400 channels and stuff, and it's like, dear Lord.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants that.
I know. Well, and you also, I don't know what does it take? Like, what is that, like, that growth like? Because if it happened to either one of us, like our people, I feel like our friends, our community would go like, I'm out.
Yeah, they would.
And they actually kind of like, they would just leave.
So what we decided is if that ever was to happen, we would create we'd have the public facing Discord.
A secret menu.
We have a private Discord.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Like a back room.
The OG. Yeah. Yeah, you build the building on top, and you just keep your pub kind of down there underneath.
Yeah, we'd have to
entrance.
We'd have to because it would ruin it.
Yeah, it really would.
Yeah,
because people. I mean, that's like, I don't know that anybody thinks about it in that way, but I think that's one of the reasons that they're there, is because you can be friends with, like, and it's the Cheers thing. Like, everybody knows your name. You walk in, everybody knows who you are. You're not just like one of a trillion people.
Yeah, it's kind of spot on.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. So if
we like it when new people show up. We just, like, if you're Grub popular, and there's like, I'm in Grub's Discord, and I only go to like patron stuff,
right?
Because like the public channels are just.
How do you even do that?
There's hundreds of people I don't know, and they're constantly talking.
I need to take a course on that.
Like, you see the messages flow in, and it's just like the Matrix. Mm-hmm. It's just constantly going and moving.
Seriously,
like, if you're not there to watch it all, like, how do you even keep up? And like, I don't. I'm like, I can't. It's too much. I joined Xbox's official server, and I was like, I was 15 minutes, and I left.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Like, walking into a Discord and it looks like a live chat for a Nintendo Direct. Like, what? No.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know, like, what? And everyone, I remember, I don't really think about it too much now, but I remember feeling like an old man first jumping into like live chats and stuff and thinking like, why even like say anything into the live chat when it's just going like a billion miles an hour and like your message is typed in and it's gone. Like, I remember thinking very specifically, like, why even participate?
Super chats.
Yeah.
Now you can make money. You can stand out from the crowd for the low fee of $2.
Very smart, actually.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's actually really smart.
I don't mind supporting folks that I enjoy.
Of course not. No.
I think super chat.
That was very nice. Well, yeah, was it? Yeah, dude, that was so fun doing a live reaction with Kato, and we got the Animal Crossing thing.
I saw you posted in your Discord that you were super excited about the Direct, but I did not listen to the Nintendo Drive this week. Was it sarcasm, or you being real?
After. I feel like I'm gonna have to like really look at this, and it might be more shock and awe that I was experiencing more than like, what do I want out of this? What am I actually like going to be purchasing? Like there's the rational, like but I did feel like,
okay, but even the irrational. So like when you're doing it and you're on the live stream with Kato, like you were all in it. You were excited?
Yeah. I was actually, and again, like I think about,
I was the opposite.
Okay,
I'm not sure if you saw it. I was live tweeting some thoughts.
Justin Masson and I chatted about this when we were over beers the other night. Like he was just like, he's not happy. Like,
yeah, and that was me. I was not happy. I posted a tweet that it was meant to be as a joke, but I thought it was funny. I was like, I'm so glad I left the Nintendo Shack. I'm so
like
glad
perfect timing.
I'm so glad I got off this show when I did, because people would have not been happy. People would not have been happy. People
aren't happy no matter what. Like I came out of E3 not happy with the E3.
Well, I mean, people would not have been happy for me to have been on the show.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was, I don't want to go too crazy. It was okay. Yeah. There were some cool things shown, but overall, I thought it was kind of a mess.
It requires, and I'm sure we'll get into this on the Drive as well, but it like, you have to kind of understand how Nintendo is playing you when you do get excited for this. If you are one like me who was kind of living it, I'm like, it just goes to show how low my expectations were and how they wouldn't be doing X, Y, or Z, and then they did 2 of those things. They did add 64 games to Switch Online, which I think is something I didn't expect them to do. I thought maybe Game Boy first, possibly. Sure. I didn't expect them to do that, and I didn't expect Rare games to be there. So I think that's actually pretty cool. But then the immediate thing that I didn't really think about until afterwards, which I'm kind of walking through now, is the controllers are $50 for that 64 controllers.
And they don't have colors or neon.
They don't have colors. That's exactly what my second point was going to be.
It's just the gray one.
Colors. Yes, and you know that they'll come out with those colors and they'll be $65 instead. And I mean, there's an argument that could be made that the what they currently charge for, I don't know. Some people are saying like they charge too much, like the balls on them to have a higher tier for Switch Online, which I don't really subscribe to that.
So I was chatting up with our Discord folks the next day, just walking them through different stuff, because the majority of the stuff that I've seen online, and I think even Nintendo Shack went down the same path. Nintendo fans seem very confident that it's only going to be a $5 or $10 boost.
I'm thinking it's $10, yeah, a year.
You might be right, but I think it could be more. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's strange, and that was my first thought.
Because they didn't say?
When they didn't say, I was like, uh-oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh-oh, we've been here before. But two, to take that a step further, they're charging $20 for SNES and NES games. Mm-hmm. Those are two systems they're charging $20 for. Now they're adding two systems to it.
Two systems.
Genesis and N64.
Yeah, it could be
So
double.
I'm not saying they're going to double it, but like I wouldn't be surprised if the expansion pack was an additional 20.
And that was
15 makes a lot of sense. They could split
and even
it.
A year, like I still kind of like do the whole like, well, whatever.
But when they add Game Boy and GBA, then they get another 15. Because I seen one of the things on so the Nintendo Shack was like, it's cheaper than everybody else is paying. That was like their go-to. Yeah. It's like, yeah, but everybody else is giving you a lot more. Like even Games with Gold, I think, is giving you more.
I don't even pay attention to that, so that's where things kind of go full circle.
And obviously, I'm not trying to say that the games that you get on Games with Gold or PlayStation Plus is better than like Super Mario World. It's just that everybody has Super Mario World. Like almost, it's like ubiquitous at this point. Everybody has access to these games. They're just giving you access to these games on the system that you're currently playing. It's convenience, right? Whereas the other ones are actually giving you new games that are coming into, you know.
My stance on this is that it just is getting us that much closer to an actual replacement to Virtual Console. It's not there yet. It's definitely not there yet. And that's maybe where I'm still kind of okay with this. Like, even if they are going to charge $10, $15 more a year, it's like, well, now we're starting to talk about like games I could be playing, and I actually might want to open that app up because there's a good library there.
I just heard some folks seeming like, and it wasn't just on the podcast, I've seen it online too. There were several folks like defending it, like, well, it's whatever $10, $15, it's still cheaper than the others. It's like, yeah, for now though. Like I feel like you almost need to bring that up too. It's like, for now. Like they're obviously building towards something. Mm-hmm. They're wanting you to spend $60 a year. They're not. It was weird because everybody openly knows that Nintendo's not here to be valuable and save you money.
Right. Yeah.
So it almost felt like folks were like defending them, like, well, Nintendo wouldn't do that. It's like, they totally will.
You're not going to get that from me. You're definitely not going to get that from me. And it'd be interesting if they do basically Game Pass for, I mean, it kind of is.
Yeah.
But Game Pass for their catalog, their back catalog, and you'll end up paying more. But they got a long ways to go before that. They got a long ways to go.
They'd have to do GameCube and everything. There's plenty of stuff. But and here's the thing: if they ever actually did fully reach its potential, I would definitely sign up for it. I think a lot of people. Yeah, I think a lot of people would. But the N64 one is it was kind of a mess for me in a couple of different ways. Mainly, I have an incredible N64 setup. I have 4 controllers, a beautiful system. I have an upscaler, an HDMI, and everything.
And all the games that will never come to that.
Exactly.
Like you got your wrestling games that will never come.
So it's like
GoldenEye.
I'm not sure if you've ever played an N64 game through emulation, like on Wii U or something. They're not that great. They're not even really good versions of N64 games. Like,
I don't think I have. Yeah,
they can be darker, especially in the EU. Like they're running the PAL version, so they're slowed down.
I saw an article about that. Yeah, they're a little bit worried about that.
Yeah, so they're not that great. It's not the same as it used to be. Like as you remember, it's not exactly the same.
And they're doing that and not like a mini. Like that's the other side of this that sort of maybe precludes. Like it could just totally, you're not going to get one, I would say.
No, I don't think so either.
Get a 64 mini.
They'll make more money off of this with the subscription than the mini. Because it's recurring revenue over time, not one hit purchase.
Well, yeah, just not I mean, then you don't really have the manufacturing cost. Like it's just pure net.
And I don't know about you over on the Xbox side, but over on our end, we had a lot of people that are really confident that all kinds of rare games are coming and the GoldenEye's coming. Like they think this is everything. And I'm like, it's definitely not.
I don't know if I'm in the middle. I was encouraged, and that was one of the things that I pointed out. I was encouraged by the sight of a Banjo, and I'm pretty sure I saw Perfect Dark there as well. Maybe not. Maybe I'm making that up. Maybe Kato didn't either, and
I don't think I would. I don't think I would. I wouldn't expect Perfect Dark to show up either.
Yeah, but I mean, there is but Banjo there does kind of.
I think Banjo's there because Banjo's in Smash.
Yeah,
but I found it interesting. I was the only person that thought that. everybody's like, oh, for sure, Donkey Kong and Banjo-Tooie and everything else will show up. I'm like,
Yeah, well, when you say it, like I feel like that does make sense, and that punctures a hole in the excitement. I would say a little bit. Like how do you hear that and still go like full steam ahead?
I wonder if I'm just like a battered Nintendo fan.
I think that's realistic.
Like
though.
I've
like,
stopped giving them the benefit of the doubt so much.
Well, you also know the Xbox side of the equation as well, pretty well. Like it's not as full on as maybe people were once thinking. And I can't remember what podcast it was, probably just as well, because I don't want to throw them under the bus. But with some podcasts I was listening to was like Nintendo and Xbox really getting along well. And it's like, what was the last thing that you saw that really indicated that they were hand in hand?
They were all in on this together.
It's been a while. I'm not saying
they're working together, but they're not partners.
It's been a while. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Like the Sega thing did nothing for me. Like absolutely, it was so, and that was a palpable. I'm
almost upset that you have to take it. That it's not more piecemeal. I'm almost upset that I can't elect not to have the Genesis stuff.
Yeah.
I'm being dead serious. Like I have no love for the original Genesis. I have love for certain franchises from those games, from that console, that I already have available elsewhere.
Yeah.
Like I don't even want it.
If anything, it does actually lend something to believe that they will have an additional tier for the Game Boy thing. Otherwise, why not just put that in there? Or GameCube or whatever direction they're going to go.
Oh, yeah.
Like, why go Sega instead of one
going.
more Nintendo thing?
They'll probably do it to where like each pack is $10 or $15, but if you get all the packs, you save $20, which will get you to $60 a year.
Game Boy, Game Gear's to next. Go. Can you imagine the Game Gear kind of pack? Game Gear, Game Boy.
I think GBA. I think Game Boy and Game Boy Color will come, and then like maybe GBA and GameCube.
Yeah. I probably would have been more excited by that, like because those 64 games are good, but like they're still 64 games. We saw what happened with the PlayStation 1 Classic. Didn't like it's a weird era. Not too many people want to play those games. I don't think.
I love my 64, but obviously I've paid for that.
Yeah,
I paid for it.
Like, I could be eating those words too because I'm so excited to see those.
I'm in this weird place where that did nothing for me because I'm already paying and not using Nintendo Switch Online. And now the prospect is coming of paying more and still not using it. And I'm like, and it puts me in a weird place because I'm in a family plan.
Yeah.
Like I know they're going to want it, but it's like, I really don't. Like I really don't.
Now you're going to have some weird PayPal transactions.
Which means I'm probably going to pay for it anyway and just not use it. It's just
Yarden's in the chat says people thought that the win-back box was Perfect Dark, and that it is very likely what I did.
Yeah, I don't think it was Perfect Dark. I think if Xbox is going to get to the point where they're putting Perfect Dark and Tooie and stuff then they want Rare Replay on Switch, not in Nintendo Switch Online. I think Nintendo licensed Banjo-Kazooie because Banjo's in Smash.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
And it's so often the simplest solution is the answer, but I saw it in my Discord. People are going like they were listing multiple Rare games. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, and why that? And while Rare Replay exists, and
like the point that I made was like it's like all of you forgot how bad the SNES and NES support has been for 2 years. Like they showed the Nintendo Flash N64 in front of you, and everybody immediately went into the clouds. Like, they're here to give us everything we've always wanted. It's like
they're masters at that. They give you the thing, which may or may not be enough. Yeah. But then they give you like the little extra, like there's still Majora's Mask. And so they give you just enough to start having your kind of wild imagination go crazy.
Yeah.
So you can't, I was going to say, I almost said you can't blame people, but you probably can still blame people.
I mean, I don't want to, I've always said this, I don't want to be the person in the chair to ruin everybody's fun. It's just like, I really do feel like a jaded, I'm scorned.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. Like, I felt what you've done to me, Nintendo.
Whatever you say, guy who quit his Nintendo podcast.
Yeah, it's like, show me. Show me before I get all excited. Show me. Like, what you just didn't show me. And so it was that, the N64 stuff. I wasn't happy that they had so many, like, hey, we've got this news. Tune in later. Like, that shit really made me angry. Because, like, that's why we were tuning in now. Yeah. Like, could you imagine if Xbox did that? We've got 5 exclusive games to show you today. You'll catch 2 of them next week on Tuesday when we do it again. What the hell are you doing?
No, that's what my comment before was like. You have to know the what was going on before going into this, where so you have Animal Crossing fans going like they've just been beaten and like just really I almost like taken advantage of. So they gave them a little morsel and they're like, thank you, Lord, thank you so much thank you, Jesus, for this generosity. And then to your point, like it just goes to show like the thirst and the hunger for it.
It just reminded me, it was like one of the tweets that I posted was like, tune in next week on Dragon Ball Z. Like that's all it felt like. It was like Dragon Ball Z was just
you just watch them power up for 25 minutes.
Let's talk about Smash Brothers. Like, okay, let's go. Mr. Sakurai will be here next Tuesday, and it's like, here's Animal Crossing, which will catch you next time, and here's N64. How much does it cost? Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. It's like, what the hell is happening?
See,
like
you're thinking way too logically about that. That all makes perfect sense.
It just made me
but shut
so
the hell
upset.
Up. You know, just shut up. Okay, like that all makes good sense. But nobody wants to hear that. You know. But the thing is, 40. What did they said a full-on direct for Animal Crossing? Full-on. I think they've since said 40 minutes for Smash. That's awesome. Like that is good news. That is what people would want to hear.
Sure,
but they didn't get like they didn't get
at least.
You got the
tease us the character, and then
you did tease the character for you got Brewster coming in.
No, for Smash. I don't care about Animal Crossing. Brewster's coffee. Come on, man.
How do you tease
at
without
least,
like the final character?
But like show the character and then say Mr. Sakurai's going to show you all the moves and stuff.
Who's this Pokemon?
Yeah,
give him a little shadow.
Exactly.
Pikachu.
That would be amazing. God, that would be so good. So yeah, they did all that. Then they did the Nintendo Switch Online stuff, and to be honest with you, they had a sizzle reel in the middle of it that was a disaster. They just showed a bunch of games that I could not care about.
They
could not care about.
I don't even.
And then I thought Bayonetta. I'm hyped for Bayonetta. Don't get me wrong. I've pre-ordered that game.
That's the funny thing. They ended on that, and I'm so low on it. It's not even funny.
I pre-ordered Bayonetta 5 years ago, so like I'm there for it. But I got to tell you, the thing I said is like, man, it looks like a 360 game.
Yeah, really,
it does. It's like you would hope after 5 years that I was hoping that they were like going to show us a new Bayonetta game, and I don't know if that's next gen consoles like tainting. Like I'm still going to get it and play it, but it wasn't impressive. From the showing, so it left me this entire show that I watched for 40 minutes. I was like, I'm gonna get Kirby, I guess. Like that's it. I was bummed.
Not gonna lie, Kirby looked pretty good.
Kirby looked great.
Kirby looked pretty good.
Yeah, I was super bummed by like the overall draft, and then the movie stuff. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
dude, I am a Bayo fan.
Bayo fans,
like I like Bayonetta. I've beat Bayonetta 1 and 2 on Switch and Wii U. I've done them both. Like
I've never really been there, so.
And it's not that I expected them to come out with like DMC5 Bayonetta. Like, don't get me wrong, but like look better. You know, like I expected improvement. It looks the same. like it looks exactly the same.
They've been working on it a long time, man.
And maybe less than like Bayonetta 2. Like Bayonetta 2 was almost more vibrant. Now that could be just that scene that they showed and whatnot. And I'm sure that, you know, like people are making, I said that in the Discord and they were like, it's the Switch, but we've seen a game, Astral Chain is made by that developer, looks better. And it's stylized. That's the other thing I got. We've seen realistic games, I think, run better.
You need frames.
I think that's what it is. Obviously they're beholden to 60 FPS, but like we've done that too. Like just, I don't know. I had a better expectation. I'm still getting it. Don't get me wrong. I'm still getting it. But
didn't you come into it like you came into it maybe on a different angle as well, where you were already like you were good with E3, like you felt like they kind of set you up for a good back half of the year.
It's a good year. It's about what I expect. We get a lot of I got more games from Nintendo this year than I was expecting actually.
Yeah,
I thought it was gonna be a little lighter year, and next year they line up very well. They got Splatoon, they got Pokemon, they got Zelda. I think there's a Fire Emblem. There's lots of rumors that there's a Xenoblade. Like they're lining up really well. Bayonetta, like. They look great for next year.
That is funny, and that's maybe part. I don't know if this is somewhere that you haven't really said it, but I haven't been down on it in the way of maybe some people have, where they were missing something. Like something should have been there that would have gotten them. Like where was Zelda? Where was some of those things that you list? Like that hasn't been part of my calculus at all. That I felt like something was missing.
I didn't think that either.
I think some people do that quite like pretty much every time.
Yeah, no, I didn't expect any of those to be there. I actually expected Bayonetta to be there. If you listen to PSVG before we recorded, I thought we would see Bayonetta, and I was excited to see it. Like, don't get me wrong, I pre-ordered it. I'm excited. I think Splatoon was my favorite thing of the show.
Yeah,
Splatoon 3
I don't
looks
want the
amazing.
colors. Kato made a couple points to like talk about like the colors that they're using for Splatoon 3. Like I just don't think that those are good colors at all. I think
Oh,
they don't
wow.
pop at all.
I didn't give that much attention. I was just into like the new mechanics, the new power ups, the new stuff, the new level designs. I'm all into.
Good for
I
you.
just-
Good, and
I just
you're
love
obviously
Splatoon.
tapped in. I was
Yeah, I just
looking
love
at it.
Splatoon.
There's live footage of
Do
me
they have
saying,
like the little hamster ball mech thing that like popped up, and they had all new power ups and like the
which is
crazy...
great. I'm mostly just kind of like hanging on to the point which I'm making it, which is I literally on the internet saying this could be. You could tell me this is Splatoon 2, and I would believe it. You know, like for whatever that's
interesting.
But there's
I thought the same thing about Halo.
And Kato said it's the colors. Like for her, it wasn't even like the mechanics or anything that you mentioned. It was the colors that she's like, this is what they're using for Splatoon 3.
It's interesting because
Yeah.
I said the same thing about Halo. Like when I played the test beta, I was like, if I'd walked in, you're like, I'm playing Halo 5. I would, sure.
Well, and that is all to say, it's not like I was dissatisfied with it. Like they said it was Splatoon 3, and I was like, oh man, that doesn't like.
Yeah,
it's totally fine. It's perfectly fine. I don't know what exactly I want from it.
That was like my highlight, and you know, like Chocobo racing, like that whole section. I was like, what is happening?
That's the announcement that Mario Kart 9 is not happening. Like this is what you get. I think so. That's what at least in that direct, and it was sure. my takeaway. Like they're not going to have two of them.
And it was so weird. You know what? There was something that I thought was missing. It wasn't in any of those games. I didn't expect any of those to be there. There was no mention of the OLED.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, that's just, I do think it's strange. It's almost October. We've not seen anything on it.
Yeah.
I imagine that they'll have a review blitz with Metroid.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But like, to my knowledge, people don't have them yet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell? Like
a couple weeks out.
Yeah, you would have thought they would at least show it with Metroid. Like if you're going to talk about Metroid again, at least show the system. But nah, they're really treating it like, yeah, we got this thing. You can buy it if you want.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They've got the pre-orders.
Yeah.
They probably maybe they're already out. Maybe they're already sold. Even, why dedicate any time?
We can't sell it anymore. You might be right.
All of the things are sold.
You might be right. But yeah, overall, it wasn't my favorite direct at all. And that was the thing that kind of like made me feel bad. And this is always the case. I took a screenshot of my YouTube subscriptions and sent it to Kevin because Kevin also wasn't super enamored. And in the screenshot that I took, I literally just hit subscriptions. There was like 9 YouTube videos that were like, did Nintendo just have the greatest direct of all time?
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, no.
See, isn't it just amazing? I don't know what it is, but they play with something. They tap into something. It
makes me feel like I'm not in. Like, it's like, why am I so...
Well, that was me on E3. And it's
off kilter than everybody else.
I just think everybody's in a different place in their Nintendo journey. I think that like it could be as simple as that. Like I was and also like my environment was different. Like I was really, really happy for Kato, you know, and everybody there just completely freaking out. They've been wanting this for so long. They finally got
just because of Animal Crossing.
Because of Animal Crossing.
And we didn't even see what it was. They're just excited that Animal Crossing.
Just want to know that they haven't forgotten about it, and that you're going to get a full-on direct. And Brewster is a big deal. Wow. Like that's an
abusive relationship.
That's what I'm saying. And that's what I've been saying about Nintendo for a long time. Like that's just it.
You know, I used to always use the analogy back in the Married to the Games days. I used to feel like people aged out of Nintendo. Like at some point, you get over like their tricks and their marketing and their nostalgia. And I've been starting to wonder if like the past year, if maybe I've hit that wall. Because it's like
it's a roller coaster. It's not a wall. Like you never get off. You never allow off.
So like it's, and you're right. Maybe like when the next Zelda I'm all back in and stuff.
Get off. Yeah.
You know, like, but like more and more with every new release, it's like I want this game to do more. I want this game to be better. I want this to, like, I want the console to do, like, I keep finding myself wanting more. Like, be better.
You know what should have done it for me? Should have just solidified my opinion about the whole thing was Mario Golf. You had a chance to give me something to care about this game that I was really excited about, and it's like you just don't get it, do you? Like that could encapsulate maybe part of it. But yeah, I don't know. I honestly, and I don't even care if I don't care to meet up with any of these like criticisms of it, like in a way, because I'm like, I don't know. Like I just kind of liked it. I kind of had a fun time watching it. I hadn't really thought about the rational part of it just yet. I'm just kind of like, cool. Like 60. Like I'm surprised that they did it. Like I'm surprised the 64 thing. I'm surprised that Animal Crossing is actually going to get a thing. And thank goodness gracious, because there's people who have like YouTube channels that hang on that.
And I guess the difference is I always just assumed that was always going to be the case. I never thought that wasn't going to happen.
I also went into the entirety of September thinking that we weren't even going to get a direct. So like I really believed it. I'm like, they're just going to speaking of the manipulation, like they're looking at us all going, we are tracking every September since 2015 or whatever. And I do feel like sometimes they'll hear us say those things and go a different way. Like
I agree with you. You're right. But Nintendo, unlike the other first-party hardware publishers, Nintendo always does seem to prime the engine before the fall and the Black Friday thing.
That one does seem less optional.
Yeah, I feel like they'll always do the one before the fall. Like the spring one can come and go.
Yeah.
Right. A midsummer one can come and go, but I feel like we'll always kind of have that primer because they both want to prime their products now, but they also want to excite you for what's to come just a little. Get you excited to get that system because we've got Bayonetta coming, we've got this Kirby game coming. You know, like they always want to kind of get you, put that carrot out there, dangle that carrot a little.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Kato had a good question for me, kind of caught me off guard a little bit, so I'll do the same to you.
Ooh,
like what the like when if I were to say like what was the best direct, like what comes to mind? And for me, like for whatever reason,
good
like
call.
it's hard to like filter through like the catalog of different directs and what showed up at each of them. But I remember being of the mind that like the February one of this year of 2021 was really good. Like I actually quite liked what they had for us.
I've said this on the podcast before. I'm just trying to remember exactly which one it was, because they've had some amazing directs, and there's one that I definitely think was the Wii U one. The Wii U, they had a direct. That one direct they had, I just can't remember everything that they announced.
And like this could be something like that. Maybe this is our next month's show, is we look at like the history of the directs.
Hang on. Vamp, give me a minute.
Well, on that note of just like, there's so many different reactions that come out of every single Nintendo Direct. You're going to have the camps who love it and think it was the best one ever. You're going to have a loud camp of people who are just pissy about it. And whenever those types of conversations and discussions happen, I always kind of go like, well, let's actually like look at it is kind of what I want to do. Like, let's actually look at kind of like when Brian Altano said this year is looking like light on games. And it's like, is it? Like, let's look at this year. Let's actually not just go off of whatever our brain is, remembering at this very moment. Let's actually look at the data. So let's look at like the different directs, what was announced, and try maybe our best to remember what life was like at a Nintendo fan at that point in the console's life cycle or whatever. I think that could be interesting. I don't know. Sometimes we'll have these ideas. Kato, you did have a good Kato's in the chat. I had a good question, Cries. Yeah, it was a good question.
I feel like I said it.
And look what it's done to Donnie.
Well, I feel like it was so funny that you hit me with it because
something comes to mind. Like there's this
something
weird
comes
reference.
Well, it wasn't weird. I think I'm having memories. I think of our Wii U episode where I'm recalling this direct that they had one year. It was when the Wii U was on like life support.
Yeah,
and they hit with a huge direct, and I want to say it had Smash, Kart, Splatoon. Like it had all these Wii U like first party big hitters like bang, 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 bang. And like in my head, I'm like, that was the best direct. But what I'm afraid to say is I don't know if I'm remembering 3 directs in one.
Right. And this is like a live kind of check on that and kind of a live commentary on everybody's reaction to every direct period. Is everybody's going to be basing it off of maybe something that's real, but probably something that's not real. And they've got like the ideal direct that has occurred somewhere in the past that they're always going to be comparing the latest direct to, and generally speaking will be dissatisfied, and you'll have a bunch of people not too happy about it. Unless you've had perhaps a year where maybe people are like, I haven't been happy with the direct in a long time, and then you get this and they think that this is the best direct. Like it's all relative, man. It's all like nothing's factual. That's the best part about it. And that's why we can poke fun at everybody about it.
Yeah, I'd have to comb through them to tell you, but there's been a few. I think there's been a few that
there's definitely standouts. Like
there's a handful that I think were better than this one.
The point of it is not to blank anybody on like there actually is not any good ones.
The one point that I always come back to though when it comes to directs and like people if they're ranking and rating them is the one that everybody really remembers that they loved. The Muppet one was one of the worst ones that ever happened.
Yeah,
I hated that direct.
The games that they announced,
it was
just
terrible. But
the presentation.
It doesn't matter. Nobody remembers. They only remember that had the Muppets. They don't remember had the awful Star Fox.
Star Fox game.
The power tennis game and like all these awful games. Like nobody won it. It doesn't remember any of that. They just remember that had the Muppets.
And that's why I'm kind of sad that they don't have that anymore. They just have
games and apps.
Generic.
I wish there was like just a catalog of these that I could go through.
We're gonna have to put it together. We'll put it together.
That actually would be a website that would probably do something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Google Doc. Wait, where's my pen? Where's my ideas? You have to
I'm
put
telling
that
you,
in
I know
gray notebook.
it was there. I just can't. God, I wish I could find it. There
Mhm.
was a direct. I wish I could put my hands on it before it's too late. Like
This
there
is
is a
another
direct.
idea.
There was just a banger of a direct that I cannot
Mhm.
remember.
Kato's like, why are you using this topic on this show? This would be a great topic for Nintendo Drive.
It
2014 E3 is and that's the other thing too that I almost want to like carve out. If this is going to be if we're talking about comparing to
E3
September,
doesn't really. That's too much.
you kind of have to.
Those are their own categories. Like you put all of the E3 ones in one category, and then you weigh the rest of them against each other. Yeah,
that could be fun. That could be fun.
I wish I would. If you had told me before, I would have found it and told you.
Well, like I said, I was driving when Kato asked me, so best I could come up with was
yeah.
February
But there's been a few.
2021.
There's definitely been a few like really good ones that I've really liked. And it was so funny because one of the other ones that I brought up is I really liked the one where they announced, or at least a memorable one to me, is when they announced Super Nintendo came to 3DS. Like that direct and that announcement, I was excited for. Yeah, I was not excited as excited for N64.
New 3DS. Yeah.
New 3DS. Yeah, the new
Exclusive.
3DS.
Yeah, that too. That even being a thing. Man, Kato said it. I now want to go back and watch all the old directs. That could be a fun thing. Like you kind of do have to watch it. You can look up the articles. They're all going to be there. GameSpot in particular is really good about like everything from X presentation. They're usually the ones that I go to for that. But watching them, the presentation of it is it's half, if not more, of the experience. Because what I'm going to do now, to prepare for our show is look at the bullet point list of what was actually announced, and I'll probably feel quite differently, and similar to just you listing these things off, like makes me feel different than watching it and maybe just being happy that I wasn't working anymore.
I may have found it, at least found one of them. Trying to comb through. Like
how are you? Like I'm curious how you're searching for something that is.
Well, like I first went to Wikipedia, but they don't have a breakdown of everything that's in there, so
that's shocking to me.
Actually. So now I'm on the Nintendo website, and they have at least like little clips of stuff that's in there. So I'm trying to go through the clips real quickly and see like what's in here. It's like this one. I don't think this is the one I'm thinking about though, but this one's pretty good. This was the one they announced Fates, and they announced this is the Super Nintendo one, and they announced the SNES to the 3DS. They announced Yoshi. Let's see, we've got Splatoon, Battle Dojo. Don't Starve. We got a bunch of indie stuff, highlight reel. We have Fire Emblem Fates, Shin Megami Tensei Fire Emblem crossover, Xenoblade Chronicles 3D on 3DS, 200cc mode, a bunch of new DLC for Mario Kart, a bunch of new characters.
That would have been a big deal. Yeah,
Box Boy is in this one. There's a bunch of 3DS support, which I don't know if does that lessen it because it supported 2 systems instead of 1.
Maybe now, but I mean, where I was with my Nintendo fandom back then, like I was
Happy Home Designer, Animal Crossing coming to cart. This was April 2015.
Animal Crossing coming to cart, so that was a whole. Yeah, you're right. That was DLC and new modes.
But this is not the one that I was thinking about. I think the one that I'm thinking about was much earlier than that.
That's pretty good. I think we're gonna have to do it. I'll put something together. I think Donnie. I think this could be fun.
Yeah, this one's pretty good too.
Which one's
I do feel strongly confident that the one that we watched last week was not one of the better ones.
Well, we might have to tier rank these things. We might have to what is
show
S tier?
Of all time?
What is D minus?
Oh man, and some of these are great. Just even clicking through this one. Right, so this one was in 2014. It was it's 2014 February.
Good God, yeah.
This is the Mario Kart announcement. They have an indie reel that's Shovel Knight. And
oh wow.
Like It'll Do and Tesla Grad and like some of these that were really pretty popular.
You didn't even know.
Then.
You didn't even know like, what you were in for.
Child of Light is in this one.
Wow.
Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze gets its first gameplay trailer after the Game Awards.
I've never been hot on the Donkey Kong. The
Virtual Console to Wii U, including Game Boy Advance. The Mario Kart reveal gets a full thing. Xenoblade Chronicles X reveal.
That
Bayonetta 2 reveal.
Hit harder now. Yeah, interesting. That wouldn't have got me then.
And then let's see, is there anything else?
Xenoblade would be more fun to watch now. Going back to watch that, it would have just totally washed over me back then.
Professor Layton.
See, this is it. We'll save it for the show. Save
Mario
it for
Golf.
the pod.
World Tour is in that one too.
That's a good game.
It's a much better game.
Are we bringing that back? Are we done?
The last one we only had like 7 people in there, and I was like, I just don't think people are that into it. I think what it would be better to do, if people are into it, I think what would be better to do is like we all play together. Like we hook up a voice chat room, and we stand up and we play. You know.
Yeah. I mean, we could do that with the new Mario Golf game, but I guess it's just the golf is actually better in 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll do that next time.
More people need to get Xboxes to just play PGA with us. That'd be more fun.
Yeah.
We could play
it's kind
PGA.
Of amazing they didn't do an annual thing. I know they're geared up for something bigger.
Tiger Woods. They're doing Tiger.
I know they're doing that next year.
And then EA's doing the Masters.
Mm-hmm. We'll see.
It's going to be fun.
We'll see if it happens. Just like anything. That's just the blind skepticism now. Instead of just blind optimism, it's just like, I'll believe it.
Where was that during the direct, though?
I don't know. You bring it out of me, man. And also, like between you and Kato too, like you're probably going to be more. This is what I'm learning: is you're going to be right more often with a little skepticism than like, yeah, this is totally going to happen, and absolutely, and I can't wait for this, and they haven't announced anything here, but I expect them to do this. Like that's not going to get you anywhere fast. You know, more often than not, and to probably like a 9-to-1 kind of ratio. Like, yeah, people are generally wrong about the exciting made up out of it. And that's what made If We're at Nintendo so fun.
I hope Kirby's good. Like it looks cool because it's a different Kirby.
Yeah.
And because definitely the aesthetic. That's the thing that everybody went to is the aesthetic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I still want to know like how fun was like all the jumping and floating around like that. Like when I rewatched it, I was like I'm gonna get it anyway. But like
kind of crazy that's the first 3D Kirby game.
Yeah,
I've been doing 3D games for a while, and Kirby's been around for a while.
We talked about it on Place of Video Games, and Rebecca brought up, she's like, there's rumors it's going to be 3D, and I was like, they're never going to budget that much to Kirby. It's completely wrong. They totally did.
There was a chat or a comment in our Discord. It said, they'll probably end up giving us like a 3D Kirby game, and I said that would disappoint me greatly. So that's probably exactly what we'll get. So. Kind of
you got to screenshot that forever. That's real good.
It's definitely there. Yeah. And there was
I love Kirby. Obviously, I named my cat Kirby. Like I've always liked Kirby games. Me and Bob used to argue about that all the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I'm down.
And that's a lot where that comes from.
It
doesn't actually disappoint me as
and he's not wrong. Like I remember he used to say like when Kirby showed up, like that was when the console dies. It was untrue, but I got the idea. Like the gist of it was hilarious.
Yeah. I actually think that was I think Pierre Snyder said that first, and then Bobby kind of carried away.
He just ran with it.
He just kind of, because I do think at when Pierce maybe said that, like perhaps it had some truth to it, and then Kirby just started showing up at all times.
As Kirby usually shows up very early, like they almost always do a Kirby game, almost on every system.
Yeah, there was a while there.
Pretty good, quick Kirby game. Kirby's Yarn, and then ports to down the 3DS, and there was like 18,000 Kirby games on 3DS. Like every year we get a Kirby game.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah. So that's really where the hatred could harbor. Is there's too much.
It's not, and like the people that hold that resentment towards Kirby, it's not misplaced. He gets farmed out to do a lot of cheap stuff. But there are good Kirby games. They are good Kirby games. I've stand for Kirby Planet Robobot for a long time.
I have it and I haven't played it.
Was fucking awesome.
It's really
fun. It's not like the best game ever, but it was. Sure. I remember vividly playing it going, this is the best Kirby game I've played in 20 years. Like it's so good. It was really fun to do. It was really pretty. I like Mecha Kirby was awesome.
Yeah.
Like I would have been really excited if they were like coming to Switch, Kirby Planet Robobot 2.
Can you imagine? Actually,
yes.
I would like to see quite a bit more 3DS games make the jump. That'd be fun. That would be awesome.
But for every Robobot there's like 8,000 Kirby slashers and Kirby warriors and Kirby hammers and Kirby, like there's 1,000 of those, and they can all kind of run together and people kind of lop them all together. And that's a shame because you do have Kirby's Dream Land and, what was the, I didn't like Kirby Rainbow Curse. What was the other one though?
Epic Yarn and Rainbow
Epic Curse Yarn. Yeah, Kirby's Epic Yarn's great. It was great on both systems, so yeah, I like Kirby games, but they can be hit and miss. But hopefully this one is really, really cool.
Could be the surprise like that. It has the power to really surprise because
next year looks really fun. Like they're slowly Nintendo's putting together a really nice roadmap.
2022.
Yeah, I mean it looks really, really promising if everything holds, which is the infinite thing. Like we say this every year about everything, and most things don't hold. Like at the beginning of the year, after that direct that we got, what was it? You said it was February or April?
Yeah, February. Yeah.
After that direct, and then after like what was it E3? I was like, I'm like 90% leaning that Zelda won't even be next year.
Yeah,
I'm fairly confident it's going to get pushed to 2023.
Yeah, at a certain you're going to need to lock in that answer like sooner rather than later.
I feel like I can lock it in now. Like if I had to bet, if I had to guess, like place a bet or prediction today, like today, I'm expecting it March 2023.
Yeah, I could see it. I could absolutely, and I'm right with you. But I feel like I would be like, you already said it. It's like I also predict that. Yeah, me too.
You don't have to mention that part. You don't have to say it. Like I'll just be like, I'll believe you. Like I heard it from Sean. Like what if we just do that every time? You know what? Just attribute it to somebody else. Just be like, Dev said it. I heard Dev say it once.
Yeah. He planted the seed. It's all his fault.
But yeah, no, it's just like, I don't know what it is they're doing to it. Nobody does. But they showed us something that looked ambitious. The sky and everything. There's like a whole new thing that they're trying to do. And it's been delayed this long.
It's the
and the COVID. And it's like, it's like they're going to work on this game so much that when they were like, we hope to deliver it next year, that was my initial reaction was absolutely not.
Can you imagine they release it and it's not very good? And Shigeru Miyamoto's like, have you not heard my quote? Just delay it. It's the rule.
Yeah.
Just walks up to him.
It's crazy because Monolith is so big. EAD, like Onuma's team, they get so much. They have every resource to do, and I'm sure it'll be great. Do you think we'll see it at the Game Awards?
That's where we could. Yeah, we totally could.
See,
we could see it, but
a grander demonstration, a little something.
I mean, to jump off Nintendo for a moment, Xbox is really the place to expect something at the Game Awards, I would say. Like
for sure.
Over the last couple of years, it seems like that's been their space to own. Now that I'm saying it, they won't be found, and PlayStation will come up with
I wonder what it could be.
Console.
We know a lot about what Xbox is doing. They could always just show more of that. I'm sure they have a surprise that we don't know about.
Could be, yeah. At this point, and at a certain point, this will be a more silly thing to predict. But at this point, it could be that'd be the campaign reveal for Halo. But that'd be the first time that you see like campaign.
Yeah, no, that would make sense. It's a really long time to wait to do that, but I mean, it's not. That's not wrong. Yeah, like, I mean, that's a really great thing to bring. And you really rev the engine right before it releases.
Right, and it's like that's the only reason that kind of makes sense in my head, because it doesn't add up to anything else they've brought to the Game Awards over the last couple of years. Like they're talking this, like the Series X was like showing off.
They launched the console.
Yeah, like it's Halo, and I really do. And part of the excitement for Halo is, of course, for the game, but also just to like, let's see them like lean into this a little bit, because those are good times. Right? Even if you're just in the video game like fandom, and you saw when the Halo machine started up, you're like, oh man, like.
Do you think we'll get like a nostalgic trailer where they show people in line for Halo 3 and they show people hooking in like wires? That's
and how you would do it.
Stuff, and then it's like,
I don't think that's what they'll do.
Let's introduce you to the new era of Halo, and then it's like, here's campaign, and here's multiplayer, and here's battle royale, and here's big team battle, and all this stuff.
Yeah, that is what they should do if we ran Xbox. That's that, like, tap into that togetherness.
Yeah,
like this could be that hallmark. They have so many other games.
College friends, like you follow like a LAN cable like out the door and into another person.
So good.
Yeah, that'd be good. Good marketing. And it's kind of, I hate it because I've hated the fact that we've not seen this campaign yet. Like, I think it's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, we're opposite on this front.
But that is spot on. Like, you hold it until the Game Awards, and then what is it, like 3 or 4 weeks before the game launches?
Yeah.
And you just kick it off as big as you possibly can, the biggest event that you possibly can. I mean, that's one way to jumpstart the engine.
Yeah. Did you guys talk about Crystal Dynamics and the initiative?
No, we haven't had a chance to. We will this week, I guess. I talked about it a lot on Twitter with Jeff, and then a lot in the Xbox Empire.
Yeah, which means you're probably a little bit more balanced about it.
I mean, ultimately, I hate. So the internet. All right, so story for any of the listener patrons, catch up. Crystal Dynamics has been contracted with Xbox to support the initiative on development of Perfect Dark. The instant reaction across the internet was that this is an awful thing that has happened, and the Perfect Dark is in trouble, and Xbox is in trouble, and it comes from a lot of different places. My instant reaction, which I kind of hate because I understand how people would write it off, was that this is not really a big deal at all. And I think a lot of people think that that might just be shilling for Xbox, which I hate.
Yeah.
But the reason is that studios support each other all the time, constantly. This is the long history. It's not even like a new thing. It's been going on for 30, 40 years. This is not new at all. This is very old. It's not always so publicly talked about, like announced, but it can be. It has been in the past. Other people have done it. Nintendo's done it a lot, actually.
And that's what balances most of this out.
They outsource stuff all the time.
Yeah.
So a couple things that I think about it is, I think the Avengers thing was a big miss for them. And I think this is a signal that that might be the case. I think what it is they're probably going to do Spider-Man and finish out whatever they're going to do, and they're going to lay Avengers down, which is what I don't think that was the plan when they announced Avengers. I think the thing with Avengers was supposed to last for a while.
Yeah, so I think they just save that team.
I think they're giving that team something to do and making them earn money and rev, like while they figure out where they're going to go next. So like while they are thinking their next step, do they go back to Tomb Raider, or do they pick something else, a new IP? So they let them do this, but ultimately,
and then they buy them.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think so either. But
ultimately,
that's my internet voice.
I said this to Jeff in his Discord, and then I sent it to him on Twitter. I honestly think this is the case where, again, the simplest explanation makes the most sense, but it's just not the fun explanation. I don't think that's it at all. It's not the fun explanation. The fun explanation is Perfect Dark and Xbox are in trouble, and they gotta get Crystal Dynamics. Like, that's the fun, speculative, put on our tinfoil hats.
Sure.
Let's be experts. The easiest explanation is that if you follow the people that work at the initiative and their studio head, the initiative has Crystal Dynamics DNA throughout. They've got a ton of former Crystal Dynamics people working there. So the easiest explanation is that the initiative only have about 70 people. That's not enough people to make a full.
And that's kind of where I was getting with the COVID thing, is that they couldn't staff up.
So their leadership and their employees have previous work experience, history, and a rapport built with Crystal Dynamics. So if you're like, let's bring in some support and let's get this project going while we continue to build out, like, what would be the easiest place to go to than the people you've already worked with? That's why this happens. I think there should be more optimism on the side of Xbox, because they could have brought in much worse. Like, Stu could have been Bloober or Aspire. That was the first thing that I said too, by the way, because I'm real cynical about this Aspire thing in KOTOR, and everybody's like, God, KOTOR's back. I'm like, but it's Aspire. And it's like, they could have said it's Aspire, and then I would have been like, this is not good, guys.
I was like listening to people were talking about how, like, they heard about KOTOR and like that's what set them off to like want to go buy a PS5. Like, that will
just the name
thing. Just that they don't even know enough to think about who's making it. It's just they saw KOTOR, and
like, at least Crystal Dynamics, you can say all you want about Avengers, and I have as well. I said it the first day we ever saw Avengers, I thought it was bad. I
think the thing with the Crystal Dynamics thing is just the narrative and the timing of it is, and everything surrounding, you know, the initiative and what it's supposed to stand for, and this is not that, and it's a year after.
It's that quadruple A thing just looming over everything that they do will be forever associated with it, and they can't get out of their own way. And the thing that sucks is that Phil didn't say that.
Yeah,
they didn't say that.
Job listing? Is that what I saw?
Job listing from a recruiter.
Yeah,
and it's like that, and that's what I oh man, I wish I had the tweet pulled up. I'd read it to you, because I sent it to Jeff, and I was just like, the problem is that the people that write, so this will like include Jeff, not that I was saying he did it, to be clear, but the people that write these, like, they poke fun at these narratives that become the zeitgeist, so that it becomes narrative and truth to the people that read and listen to that. Like, that stuff reverberates in their mind. So, and it happened in our own Discord. Like, the moment the news happened, our Discord immediately started poking fun at it. Like, oh God, what is this, the quadruple A thing? And it's like, that's the narrative. It's
actually 6 times A. Like, it's 2 AAA teams coming together. Yeah,
that's the narrative. Yeah, because they're like, isn't this supposed to be the best studio you have? And it's like, maybe one day. Like, if anything, like, again, pointing back to it, their support studio is Crystal Dynamics. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Most support studios you don't recognize.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
Halo has 10 studios that are supporting them. Like
You come to know them
343
maybe
has
later.
343 has a bunch of people supporting them.
Yeah.
A bunch.
Yeah. Well, Coalition too. Like that was one thing that just kind of, even just being there, I'm like, this isn't everybody. Like it was not a big place. It was like a floor on a, you know, in a business building, you know, it was the 9th floor or whatever.
Tons of people have support studios. Like
totally.
and even small things like that Bright Memory Infinite sequel has support studio working with them. It's not a single developer.
I thought it was made by one guy.
Yeah, but he has a support team that's helping him do stuff.
That's so much bullshit. Like you can't. That's not even a half truth. It's not even like.
There's screenshots floating around with how many people worked on The Last of Us, and again, like that's just games.
Yeah.
Nintendo lets Bandai make Smash. They let Monolith make Zelda. Like.
But again, like if that was the case from the start, then it's totally different. Like they could have announced this prior to, if it was even before we knew it was Perfect Dark, this would have made a little bit more sense, or maybe you wouldn't have quite as much to attack.
I think they're probably, I mean, again, I don't even want to give them excuses, but I think ultimately that they're not where they want to be. They want to kick up production. So they need
well, they announced the name of the game. They announced what it is. Like
you either need to hire people, which you're having a hard time doing, or you need to hire somebody to help you do it, and that's what they decided to do.
Yeah, it's man. It
almost makes
a fly on the wall.
Makes more business sense to contract it, to be honest, than it does to ramp up
after
200
all these
jobs.
Like
if you ramp up 200 jobs, then you got to lay those people off. You know, like that. We've seen that happen a bunch.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, we have to get basically the first set of games to come out of all these studios that they've recently purchased, and then see kind of what happens after that. Because the idea, I think, is there's stability, security there, because they're owned by Microsoft, and I guess we'll see if that's the case.
You're right. They don't have to. The thing that I always come back to that always sticks with me when it comes to like how these studios run is like Naughty Dog talks about this a lot, like with their developer interviews and like their documentary, is a need to feed the beast.
Yeah.
You can't have these people not working. They're too big. Like you've got to give them something. It's like when the rumors came out, they're like, oh, they're going to remake The Last of Us. You remember how many people were upset about? I was like, yeah, that totally makes sense because they just shipped a game and they need something to work on.
And nothing
because like every day, every week, every month that passes is a huge labor cost. Like you can't, they have to be working on something. I think that's why we hear about pre-production projects years in advance. Like the reason we hear about them is because they've got, these people are done working on this, so we've got to give them something else to do. So what's the next thing? Go scope that out for us. Go make a trailer.
That, honestly. Yeah.
I think that's it.
What's the Rare game? What did they make? I don't even know.
Everwild.
Oh, it is there. Okay, I wasn't.
I think so. Isn't it?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Yeah.
And they just like their lead creative guy left. Last year.
Oh, that was the other thing that I wanted to talk about with the initiative was the lead kind of creative dude. Wasn't he the guy who went back to Insomniac? Like that. If anybody wants to jump on anything, I'm pretty sure that's the
Drew Murray.
I can't believe that people don't really hang on that one a little bit more. Like what a move for him.
People were happy. They were like, "Yeah, get out of Xbox. Come work for Insomniac." Like
no, I guess they didn't really hear too much about it.
But I think in the Xbox circle there was that, but like on the PlayStation side, they looked at it like, "Oh, we got your developer," and it's like,
it
wasn't the studio head.
No, but it was just after. I feel like it was just after he showed his face on the video. Like I'm here at the initiative, we're working on this thing, and it was shortly after that.
Yeah, it was like a month or two later.
And now he's just I don't know how. Obviously, none of us know what the compensation is for these guys. Like, does he go work on a Miles Morales or one of these games and just like does he get a piece or is he just like an employee? Like I don't know. Like, do they get royalties or anything? At what point? What stage in the company?
I think they get performance bonuses.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
At the higher levels, at least, and I think even at the lower levels, we've seen like some of the Rockstar stuff and even some of the Call of Duty stuff. Like, we've seen some employees go public with, "Hey, I was supposed to get a bonus if this game hit a 90 Metacritic or if it sold 10 million copies." Like their performance incentives.
Yeah, and CD Projekt I think had something similar. I don't know if it was which metric it was, but you're right. Yeah, so you know, you just wonder what kind of like that guy's probably doing all right.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Most of these guys probably.
He's running a So we'll see. I hope it means that we'll be playing Perfect Dark sooner than rather than later. I was more excited, and I don't think there was nearly enough said about Nick over at Xbox Era. He had just shared a little, I guess, snippet of info that he's been being told. Apparently, is that they're looking at Perfect Dark and Joanna is like kind of like a John Wick-esque kind of like
Nice.
like brawler shooter, and I'm like, that sounds
Nice.
fucking awesome. Like exactly. You know, like in kind of like the John Wick-esque game that you would expect. Like you're gonna be doing like a lot of like stealth espionage, but then you kick ass and then you pull out your guns, you shoot some folks. Like, yeah, that sounds great. Do that. That sounds great.
That's all. I mean, I would never have expected Xbox to do that, just given everything else that they've kind of in their history, or their like when you think like Gears, Halo, like they've got shooter kind of that kind of has already been, that path has been well trodden before. But now it's different, and or at least by the time Perfect Dark comes out, I'm sure it'll be different. I feel like the Western RPG narrative will take over a little bit more.
Oh, there's gonna be a lot of that.
That's So like the identity of Xbox games like that is hopefully about to change over the next year or two.
There were job listings that got people talking that there's another project at work at Machine.
And
you have to think that maybe that's Wolf.
Oh, I would say Quake, but maybe. I feel like no. Never mind. I take that back. I don't want them to do Quake. I want id to do Quake.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah. So like, if it is Wolf, maybe that's something they could show at the Game Awards. And if id's doing Quake, that's something they could show at the Game Awards.
Yeah, like, I'm kind of. I actually thought that that's what we were getting the last time they got all the Quake hype. Was that there was something?
It makes something else that they're about to brew something up. Yeah, it makes sense. I don't know how long that is, but I'm happy to hear. And like when we didn't get a Wolfenstein at E3, I think Elaine and I were talking. We were like, maybe it's just not happening, but I don't think that. It's been very documented and told on, like it's on record. Like there will be a Wolfenstein 3.
I felt like I remember you guys talking about that, and I thought it was a little early for that. I feel like, time is a weird thing right now with COVID and everything, but it seems like we just came off of a couple Wolf games.
Well, they had the spin-off and the VR game.
Yeah.
Right, but Wolfenstein 2 was a while ago.
Yeah, that makes sense. It just, for whatever reason, I feel like
2017.
So
but we got Youngblood, and it's like, but that isn't 3, and that's not what anybody wants in the VR game. So I'm with you.
Yeah, I just never felt like you needed that cadence. Like,
and it was so weird because at the time when we were talking about it, I never would have imagined it would have been Indiana Jones.
Right. Yeah, that's
like,
true.
That's what a out of left field thing
that really is it. Like, anytime anybody starts to put any sort of logic towards their prediction, it's like, well, you never saw these things.
Nobody anybody had that one coming.
Yeah.
But I hope. I mean, I really like Wolfenstein, so I hope, and it's more just me being optimistic. It's like we've seen Bethesda go on record and say like there will be a Wolfenstein 3. Like there's a sequel in the works. So like we know that it's at least being talked about.
Yeah.
And then
kind of want something else.
Really?
Kind of want something else. Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know.
Well, we got Indiana Jones. Is that something else?
Well, the funny thing, and this is where I'm just like, okay, Sean, like what can they do to please you? Like I'm not an indie fan. Like I think the music is cool. I think Harrison Ford is fine. Like I
would have been more excited if they were making their own like Indiana-ish IP. Like just tying it to Indiana Jones.
Straight
it's like
up Uncharted.
It lessens my excitement for just saying it's Indiana Jones. I'm like, oh, okay.
I gotta get a PlayStation.
Yeah, man. Dude, Kana. Well, you can play on PC.
PlayStation. Yeah. Why do I need a PlayStation? I got a perfectly capable gaming PC. Obviously.
I love on PlayStation, man. I'm playing the
We're getting great
so
review coverage over on PlayStation Drive.
Yeah?
It's good stuff. Yeah, we're going to have Death Stranding and Kenna. They're going to have those reviews going up pretty soon.
Death Stranding.
I'm probably with
Sorry,
you.
Ryan.
I actually bought it, and I bought I still have the...
Dude, Elaine loves that game, too. I always hate when I talk shit about Death Stranding, because I don't want to ever throw stones at something Elaine loves. She loves that game.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I don't think I get it either.
It's pretty, though. It's real pretty.
Yeah. The funny thing about pretty games, though, is like at a certain point, then the pretty kind of wears off, and then you're just left with whatever else it is.
Carry boxes.
Hairy boxes.
No, you carry boxes.
Oh, I thought you said you're left with hairy boxes. I'm like, this analogy to women is crossing the line, man.
Absolutely not. I said you carry boxes. That's what he is. The pretty wears off, and you're left with carrying boxes.
Hairy boxes.
What a mess! For the record, Sean said that, not me. Oh man,
That actually like ruined me quite a lot.
The Bethesda drum's gonna start pounding,
Oh my
and on the
gosh.
Xbox side, it's gonna be a lot of fun, dude.
Yep, good save. All right, that happened. I don't know how you get anywhere from that. They're 2.5 hours into this.
We gotta end the show
Train
anyway.
wreck.
It's way too long.
Eventually, yeah, that's probably a good idea. That's probably a good place
Just call it quits.
to end it. Yeah.
Sean,
Yeah,
I've missed talking to you.
Same
Been a
here,
blast.
obviously. Yeah, man, it's been good. It's been
I'll
good.
catch you next month.
Bye bye.